Ritual Madness Podcast! The best of the underground! Make madness your ritual!
Oh, look at that. Hey, you know, that's what we do here. I'm so professional in doing this. Hey, do me a favor, check out me mess this thing up again. Anti-Broadcasting Incorporate, custom screen printing, antibroadcasting at gmail.com, 612-836-9488. If you're looking to get some screen printing done, do me a favor and hit up Anti-Broadcasting Incorporated, custom screen printing. Again, antibroadcasting at gmail.com, 612-836-9488. Give them a shout. If you're looking to get some tattoo work, do me a favor and check out Lowbrow Saints Tattoo Collective over in Minneapolis. Let me see here, 612-353-4755, Lowbrow Saints at gmail.com. Hit those guys up. Fantastic. I was actually on the text message with my good buddy Jason Del Castillo, the owner of Lowbrow Saints, this afternoon, just talking shit about people that we don't like. It was really fun. You know, you have those friends like, you know, you're able to just say what you want with them. You have no like fear of them judging you for being a complete ass.
Absolutely, absolutely. No judgment.
My guest for the evening is Andrew Oltmann from let me see here. Well, Hex Vortices is the band, and then his YouTube show is the Thrash Metal Studio. Dudes, a million questions.
What do you got?
Well, first
Lay
of
'em
all,
on me.
like, well, we were talking about the song that we started with is let me see here. What was that one called?
The Wake of Mistakes.
The Wake of Mistakes. Now, where'd you come up with that title for that, and how did that all come to be?
That one, and I don't know if am I loud enough?
Yeah, you should
Okay,
be fine.
Okay, good. I can hear it. I'm probably just fucking deaf, is what it is.
Well, you can turn up if you need to.
Oh no. Well, yeah, actually here.
Then you can hear yourself as much as you
That's
as
the
you
first time I almost denied somebody telling me I could turn up. Fucking guitar player. Yeah, don't turn up anymore. They usually tell me to turn down. No, the Wake of Mistakes come out of the riots. It come out of COVID. It come out of all the bullshit that was going on in 2020. And Matt started playing a riff from another song of ours, and Tom came in, but he came in on a different beat.
Yeah.
And it just, I looked kind of like, holy shit, what the hell is this? And all of a sudden I'm like, all right, stop. Let me grab my phone. And I recorded like 34 seconds of it. And I had it. It was on my phone. I didn't do anything with it at that time. And then the riots kicked in.
Yeah.
And I lost my mind. I was pissed. I was beyond pissed. I wasn't supporting it. I wasn't for it. I wasn't any of it because I had friends that were affected by it.
Right.
Not cool. So instantly, dude, I started cutting that. I downloaded the audio off my phone from the video and went into Logic and started cutting drums up and started playing riffs to it and everything. Yeah. And the song came together in about an hour, roughly an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I sat down, and that was the first time that I've written lyrics where the pen never stopped. The lyrics just come out and everything worked. And it wasn't like rhyming words. Like I don't rhyme words when I write. I don't like that. I don't like writing poetry.
Sure.
I'm not a poet.
Yeah.
Don't you know it? So I mean that song came that I've written a lot of songs, like I said, and that song in particular is the most honest, just innocently written from the heart song I've ever written.
Yeah.
And it's like it's my proudest song I've ever written.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, I love my wife.
Sure.
Cutesy stuff, but I'll write her a song sometime.
No, but it's real with what was going on at the time, and that I think that's a thing for musicians, man, to be able to tap into those emotions, man, when you're feeling pissed about something, especially with aggressive music. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things. You may write a love song about something, or banging a chick or whatever.
Cannibal Corpse did it,
right? Absolutely,
a lot of them.
Right. But yeah, man, that's awesome.
One, and think of it too, like you touched on it a little bit there for a second. How many bands actually, like, okay, all of us have like our angst songs. We all get pissed off about something, but then remember there's bands like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young,
right?
Deep Purple with Smoke on the Water. I mean, that had a purpose, Sweet Leaf that talks about, Ozzy's love for fucking pot, you know, like having songs that have meanings and not just like, that subject will work and I'll sing about that. You know, it's not, you don't really feel it. It's not a soulful, lyrical content song. And that's something I think music these days really lacks.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now, when you play that song live, do you tap back into that emotion?
Oh, dude, I literally play that song and scream them lyrics with my eyes closed. Yeah. And I'm just fucking playing because that song is definitely a big, Slayer was a big influence of that, especially the whammy bar work, because you hear there's no real talent going on with the intro. No, Matt did the second solo, so that's where all the talent is. But no, I mean, like the original solo I had written, dude, it was all just fucking Kerry King, Jeff Hanneman pulling off the fucking, and it just felt right. And so when I do play that song, dude, my legs are fucking tight. I'm hugging the ground with my feet, and I'm fucking playing it.
Talons in.
Yeah, dude. It's like, literally like who was it? Devin Townsend talks about that, where he the way he plants himself when he plays is almost painful because he's fucking digging in because he's got to hit them fucking acapella kind of really high notes,
Sure.
So yeah, that's.
Hell yeah. And this is that is from your 2020 release, Precipice, correct?
Correct.
Now, how was it received? Did you guys were you able to do a CD release? Probably not in that whole thing. Did you do it after?
Yeah, we did it after. We put the album out digitally first, and then we wanted to see what the kind of response was. And sadly, and this this will be a whole nother subject we can dabble on, but the response for being a local band without record labels and all that other stuff is pretty bleak. You know, I mean, we did, we're hooked up with individual down in South America that's helping promote us down there. So we're getting on to live streams live stream music festivals and stuff. We did a festival for that, due to that. But, we do get responses from overseas, and that's pretty damn cool that people like in Russia
appreciate it. That's where they appreciate it the most.
Yeah, it's not just, you don't just go out and buy your favorite friend, your friend's CD just to be like, oh, yeah, thanks, dude. And then it goes in the bin to be found 20 years later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you know what's crazy, man, is I ran into a guy around here who found some old Necroma stuff, you know what I mean?
Yep.
One of my first bands, and
I still have
the
red one.
Burn Scar.
Yes.
Yeah. But the old demo stuff that we did, like way back, you know what I mean, in the 90s and shit, he contacted me asking if I had copies of that stuff, and I'm like, dude, I don't have any of that shit,
That sucks.
And he found it in Finland, I believe, and he said there's a guy in Finland that has every band from the 80s to like mid 2000s from Minneapolis. He has them all bootlegged, which is crazy to me.
No shit.
He said that our original demo tapes, we did two of them. We did Parish, and then we did just Necromus.
Yeah.
He said he's found them for like $200 online.
What?
Yeah, cassette tapes that we dubbed ourselves. Yeah. And I was like, this is fucking insane. He goes, yeah, dude, I was looking for this shit. I found a forum, and then the guy sent him these things. Well, he makes records.
Yeah.
So he was like, dude, I'm going to put those demos on records for you. I got 2 Necromus demos from like the late 80s, early 90s on record.
That's
on vinyl.
awesome.
Yeah. Aaron Robinson, I believe is his name.
I'll have to get that info from you.
He's from Minneapolis, and he's done some stuff for Deterioration too. So he does like 7 inches and shit, but he does small runs, and that's what Deterioration, they fucking live on that. Small record runs and splits with people all the time. And Aaron has done some stuff with them. So
that's very cool.
Very cool. Let me see here. What if you buy your friend's CD, you download it on your computer and put it on your phone. You're absolutely right about that. Your dad's on here too, right? That's Greg.
Oh God.
Greg's your dad, right?
Yes, he is.
Another fantastic Greg in the world. Yes, sir.
Woot, woot.
And the alternative says, rock on, my metal brother. I appreciate you. Thank you. He said, Andrew, rock on, my metal brother.
Awesome, dude.
Thank you for
man.
joining us. Appreciate it very much, everybody who's checking in and saying hello. Adam D., thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Adam's always here. Adam, do you not have a life on Friday nights?
No,
Wait.
You know what? He told me
kidding,
that he told me, he said, hey, man, Matt Hamilton's here as well. Other guitar players from Hex Vortices and Gallo Glass Scourge, who was just on here the other week or so. So those whammy solos that you're hearing in that first tune, that's some of Matt's work too, right?
Matt's got the second solo. He's got the big like, hey, I could shred.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing all the Jeff Hanneman like lazy
right.
guitar player.
That's Kerry King though, isn't it? Hanneman was the tastier one.
Hanneman was the tastier one. Yeah, I will agree with that.
His flowed a little bit better. Even his writing was much better. I thought
it was his locks, man. It was the blonde locks.
Right?
He was a beautiful man too.
Yeah, right. So yeah, man. I mean, we were talking about. So how did you guys fare through this whole pandemic shit when everything was shut down? Were you guys still getting together? Were you doing it? I know that I know a lot of people kind of just stopped getting together in small spots to practice because we didn't know how bad this shit was going to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're actually very correct about that, because I mean everybody at the beginning of it, it's a whole new thing.
Yeah,
we haven't experienced anything like this in a long time.
Right.
Okay, so now all of a sudden we're like, okay, we got to be cautious about it. I don't feel like dying tomorrow,
right.
kind of thing. So as time went on, obviously everyone develops their own opinions about it and everything, which we
Yeah.
can dabble about that later.
Yeah.
But still on here, but later.
Yeah.
But no, basically, it happened. All right, cool. We're all kind of taking it in. I think we took a little bit of time off in there.
Yeah.
Just kind of playing it safe, out of respect for each other and maybe their significant other's wishes. We would wear masks or whatever. I would just say, just stay away from me. I would build my perimeter.
Yep.
But we started practicing again. It wasn't like a crazy long time.
Yeah.
But we were still jamming together and everything. And we were doing the live stream stuff. I would do like play-alongs to things. Matt would do some stuff too. I can't remember if it was like play-alongs or whatnot, but we would try to stay relevant. We would do things where it would be like a week.
Yeah.
Where one band member would take one day and we'd do this and that. Do little stupid pictures and shit. I mean, just anything we could do to stay relevant and stay moving forward. And I'll tell you right now that I've teeter-tottered to the point where I've almost wanted to throw in the towel.
Right.
And there's a lot of shit that goes into that as to why, but COVID has been a son of a bitch, and all the stuff that relates to COVID, whether it be the opinions or just what it's done to venues, being able to play there without getting ostracized, whatever.
Well, let me back you up a little bit though too. Right before all of this went down, before the George Floyd stuff, before all of that went down, there was a lot of cancel culture shit going on around here that was like maddening to me, because it was like people that you've either jammed with, people that you've seen around, that you've been friends with, and I'm not talking personally you, but
that's fine.
a lot of these cancel culture folks, man, like, I understand being sensitive or understanding of other people's feelings or understanding on certain things, but there are people out there these days that are digging shit up that happened 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And then not only doing that, but trying to call your job or put somebody on Front Street. It's like, you ask anybody, like, are you able to learn from your mistakes? Are you able to give somebody the now, where's the fucking cutoff for somebody to say, and excuse my language, I know that some people might not appreciate it, but where's there a timeline for someone to make a mistake in their life, learn from it, become a different person, and move on and be able to move on and live their life, other than somebody drudging something up 20 years later and going, dude, you did this to some chick and she snitched it out, and then all of a sudden she's posting something here. And I'm not saying just specifically about chicks, but racism, just being around the wrong people that are being associated or being in a band with somebody who had done something stupid in their life, and all of a sudden everybody gets lumped into this pot, and all of a sudden, there's people calling everybody out every which way. Dude, I was so mad after the whole Lee's thing went down. I was already licking wounds from there, because it was like, we had such a good thing going at that point. And then all of a sudden everybody's trying to cancel each other. People are attacking each other from all over the place. You know what I mean? I could name 5 or 6 people specifically, but I won't do that. I'm just saying that it was so hairy to the point where I just didn't even want to do this podcast anymore. You know what I mean? I didn't want to put it out there, because everything that I felt like I was going to say was going to be directed towards those people too, though. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? Even me being on here, and I kind of joked about it too. Like, the band's like, don't get us blacklisted. In my mind, my opinions are my opinions.
Right.
And it should not reflect on the band. But unfortunately, there's too many weak-minded individuals in the world that find that pedestal, that podium, that ladder to climb up onto, which is it's social media.
Yep.
And I think I mentioned it, and you agreed and disagreed with it, but it needs to go away.
Social media
needs to crash. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all this shit needs to go away. The quicker we get rid of these things and get rid of these social media platforms, the quicker we go back to being a civilized community. Because the unfortunate side of it is that when, say, I do something wrong that might offend some people, whatever it may be, back in the day, it wasn't where you had the whole country or the whole world coming down on you,
Yeah.
sending you death threats, emails, whatever, you know,
Yeah.
threatening your family.
Right.
Like, what the fuck have we come to?
Right.
Is that really where humanity's heading to
Right.
where everyone's going to ridicule somebody for
Yeah.
something they've done? I mean, nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just one of them things, man. Like that's why, that's probably most of the reason why nobody sees me go out much anymore, why I don't go to shows much anymore.
Right.
I don't want to deal with the drama. I don't want to deal with some drunk. I don't want to deal with anyone harassing my wife. Just all of that. Like, I have no time for it anymore.
Right.
The current society in 2022 makes me sick.
You know, one of the things that I used to
write another
I used to
fucking song.
hate when I was younger is when you do something that's, you know, more mainstream or streamlined, and they just go, "You're growing up. You're growing up," and that's exactly how I felt right there. Like, dude, I fucking feel you, because I go out and I'm just like,
I can't even.
dude, have you been out of the house for the last? You know what I mean? You look
Yeah.
at people like, are you absolutely fucking nuts right
Think
now?
about even right now with COVID,
Yeah.
right? And you know, I bring this subject up because I don't think a lot of guests on any podcast forum outside of like Joe Rogan or something.
Right.
Again, that's how sheltered I am. I don't know.
Who's really under fire right now because of all of that stuff? Which
Yeah,
is really
you know,
funny.
I don't feel like a lot of people really talk about this stuff, and I'm all about it. I'm totally for it because, you know, not only is it cathartic for me,
Right.
but it's another point of view.
But you know what? Here's the thing that I've always noticed about you, though, Andy, is that you would rather have those conversations face to face. I've seen you and I've had conversations with you that are like right on point, man.
Yep.
And you can be honest. At your show at the North Star Bar, I sat with the guys in Simothwa, and it was right after the Kyle Rittenhouse thing.
Yep.
And we had an honest conversation, and I'm sitting across from those guys, and we're talking, and we're having a real fucking conversation, not agreeing on everything, but having a solid conversation.
We could be respectful.
Dude, I stopped and I looked around and I was like, I suppose we should be careful of what we say here, you know? And you know, Jeff looks at me and he goes, yeah, that's pretty fucking sad that we have to worry about what people hear us say when we're having a conversation with 4 friends at a fucking booth. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, with social media, here comes the biggest problem. Like you said, you could start a conversation, an open conversation, which I saw yesterday. Trent from, damn it, I cannot remember his name. Horse Lord.
Yeah,
Trent.
yeah.
So Trent brought up the thing about Joe Rogan and Elon Musk. He was talking about Elon Musk.
I love Elon Musk.
And then it became a thing about Joe Rogan, and an artist, a local artist, got on there and posted a bunch of shit about how he didn't like him and didn't appreciate his comedy, and like took these clips, you know, those clips that someone who doesn't like someone, like say I didn't like your show, but I went to your show and I clipped every single episode of some shitty thing that what I thought you said, you know what I'm saying?
Context.
So they just take it, and he played a bunch of, or, you know, posted a bunch of those, like, oh, here, if you don't believe me, this is what I think about this particular thing. Now that conversation between those people, like you said, blows up because everybody from Guatemala to fucking, you know, Cambodia want to fucking talk about what you just said and hate on you for that. You know what I mean? It's bullshit. There's no real conversation anymore. It becomes a hate fest, and you know,
Too many people
split you right down the middle.
Too many people feel too important.
Yeah.
And they're too entitled.
Yeah.
And sometimes people need to just shut up.
Yeah.
And that I say that not only towards people outside of this,
Yeah.
but myself too.
Oh yeah.
Because I can go on KSTP. That's the news channel I always go to,
Sure.
just because it seems like fun to sit there and go like that. But in the last dick. No, in the last, I would say like 4 years, all right, it took me really, really, really focusing and trying to quit spewing my shit.
Yeah.
All right. And
Yeah.
people know me as Andy's just being Andy.
Right.
You know, and I used to be a real angst, pissed off kind of person back in the late 2000s and everything. And people had to deal with that. And I don't know how I still have friends, but, you know, it's just that's where I was at mentally. You know, I was fighting the world and shit. And now I'm to the point where stay out of my world.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need this outside stuff affecting me anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I have a tight knit core group of friends, and I appreciate every one of them. You know, I
Yep.
really whittled it down, and you know, I have a lot of acquaintances and everything. I love all those guys too, guys and gals, and you know, then there's the people on the outside of that just nope, stay away.
Yep.
Because most important things to me right now are my wife, my pets, my family, not in any particular order, but I'm just saying, you know, and my band.
Right.
Those are, you know, and my career too. You know,
Yeah.
those are some very important things to me, and nothing can fuck with that.
Right.
You know,
I get that.
So
I totally do.
I don't know, man. You know, it's a really messed up world we're in, and I just wish that there was a way that we could just collectively just go, you know what? Let's do this. Let's stop this shit.
I agree with you.
'Cause
I think the you know, the outside of the box thinking, you know what I mean? Like if you honestly are able to draw a line in the sand over your political views, or whether you got a shot in the arm or not, or whether or not you're going to wear a mask, or whether or not you believe Black Lives Matter, or whether, I mean, any of those issues that are hot button issues at this point, you know what I'm saying? If you're willing to draw a line in the sand and say, you're on that side of it and I'm on this side, stay the fuck away.
Yeah.
I think you need to stop and reevaluate what you're doing with yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're honestly cutting yourself off from growth as a human. Because
it's a
you,
like-minded mentality.
yeah,
They want
well,
to-
it's a tribal thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that goes back to centuries. You know what I'm saying? It goes back. Their tribes, they gather together. You know what I mean? And they'll fight. They'll take people hostage. They'll make people slaves. You know what I'm saying? And it's no different in the future.
Yeah.
Where we are right now, there's no difference about it. I think that people have to realize that. Stop and fucking take a look at what you're doing to the people around you, right?
Yes.
Because either way, if we don't agree on something, okay? If I saw somebody hurting in the street, or someone came up and left their wallet at home,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And I look over and I see him and I go, oh, that's the dude I just got into an argument with on fucking Facebook. I would still go, I got it. Go ahead, man.
Yeah.
You know? Just out of me going, I can bury this hatchet because I'm bigger than you. I'm
Yep.
better than you are.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I just think that it's people need to be better to each other. You know what I'm saying?
I with my new job and everything, you know, I've went through a lot of just hurdles, and you know, you always see those crabby people.
Yeah.
You know, I'm working on the dock right now. Monday, I start actually driving a semi, not that kind of semi. If you're gonna try to go there, tractor trailer there. I'm catching anybody out there, but you know, I've been working on the dock, and like you see these just grimace, just. You know, they hate their life. They hate their job. They're just bitching about shit. Every time I ride past them, hi, just because you know what? It makes my day go good. I know that I'm getting a laugh out of somebody. I don't even care if it's at the expense of me.
Yeah.
And that's the way I try to live my life now, is I just try to have a good time.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, like I was saying too, you know, I touched on the whole how COVID affects me. It's made it very hard for me to want to continue doing certain things, because not only are we limited on where we can play,
Right.
you know, whether it be the mandate or mandates or people's opinions or bars closing down because they can't make it through because nobody's going out, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that come into play with this, but, you know, I'm trying to push myself because I think I was depressed, you know. I tried taking CBD gummies and they helped. And it finally, I got to the point where I was taking them through the summer where it finally mellowed me down enough to where I could obtain that without them.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been good ever since, man. I mean, I've had a couple moments where I've been pissed off, but that's, you know, who's not going to get pissed off once in a while?
Right.
But I still come back home.
Yeah.
Where I want it, where I know I feel good.
Yeah. Focused
So-
it. Yeah.
Yep.
Mom says she's proud of you and loves you.
Well, hello, Mom.
Adam says, I put my money where my mouth is every time I can watch Mr. Greg. I'm there. I always go to the show. Love to you, Mr. Greg. I appreciate it, brother. Mr. Jeff, Mr. Jeff, bro. 2 beards, 1 cup, one cup, dude.
Oh, here.
Holy-
I got the brew. Yeah, I got some
funny.
pureed shit in the cup here.
Yeah, I almost threw in the towel because of the whole cancel culture bullshit. I agree with you, man.
Who was that?
That was Adam. Freedom of speech. Preach it. Yeah. Beard game strong on this podcast. Craig Rosensbeard checking in. Appreciate you, my brother. Preach on, Mr. Greg. Yes, growth. Yes, absolutely, man. Andy usually, Matt says Andy's usually pissed at me and then laughs.
Well, Matt looks pissed off all the time.
He does, dude. He does.
Like, I can't. Okay, he'll stand there. Like we'll be jamming on like a, well, the last time we jammed, I blew my amp up. We're jamming Jimi Hendrix and shit. But no, I'll start jamming something, and Matt's just standing there looking at me like, what the fuck? So then counter that, he'll start playing stuff that he wrote while I'm trying to talk. And these guys show up early to practice, and they go have dinner. It's all cute and everything. Then Andy comes storming in all fucking, tired from work and all that, and I just want to fucking rock, and
yeah, that's funny.
maybe catch up a little bit. And no, Matt's not always mad. He just looks mad. He's got a resting bitch face.
He does, dude. Matt, you do. I'm not gonna lie, dude.
Oh, no.
Hey, man, when you guys played the North Star Bar, when I saw you guys over there, dude, I was standing there with the camera, and I have a couple shots of him like just looking over at me, like in the middle of playing his riff and just looking up at me like. And when I looked at the picture, I was like, I wonder if I was in his space too much. Yeah. And then interviewing him the other week, he's such a fucking laid back dude.
Bear.
Yeah,
a little softy.
Laid back dude.
You got to scratch him behind the ear.
Get his leg kicking a little bit. Shit. That's awesome.
No, yeah, it's and like you said about like burying the hatchet and shit. And I was thinking about bringing this up because I've never officially been able to have a moment to actually. Get this out there to a specific ex-band member. When I was in For Blood, I've been trying to bury this hatchet for a long time. I've never gotten closure from it, and I don't know if he'll ever see this or anything. But there was a falling out that we had between Ben Kunkel and I.
Yeah.
And, it was hard because being young guys, young musicians and shit, and not really knowing how to interact, at least for myself. I'm going to speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for Ben or any of the other guys. But, again, Andy's just being Andy,
Sure.
No tact, didn't know how to really, go about talking about shit or anything like that. And there was times where Ben and I, we bumped heads on things, and it reached a point where collectively we all decided that, we're gonna let Ben go, and I didn't show up to when they let him go, and to when a couple of the members had let him go, and it was chicken shit for me to do. And mostly because I was trying to bypass the anxiety of it. And, now being 40 years old and looking back at the douchebag that I was, I wish that there was a way that I could bury that hatchet, and just because I wish we could have discussed it. I wish we could have figured it out because Ben was a really good fit for the band.
Sure.
Ben brought something to the band that was really, really different than what Kyle and I were doing. Ben, I dabbled with a little bit of stoner rock, but Ben was in the stoner rock.
Yeah.
He was into that shit. And he brought a song down for For Blood that's on the end of it and everything, and The Stand. And it wasn't where I was at musically, so of course I was poo-pooing on it. I wasn't a full supporter of it. Kyle was all about it. But now in retrospect, it's a really good fucking song.
Yeah.
And so I wish that, if you do see this band, just know, dude, I'm sorry the way that shit went down. And, I wish we could get together and have a beer or hang out with Dan or something, because it sucks. You have those regrets in your life where, you made some piss poor decisions. Or the decision may have been right or whatever, but you wish you could have went about it differently.
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully this platform helps me get that out there.
Well, it's in the universe now, man.
It is.
You put it out there. If anybody who sees it, show it to Ben. Let Ben know.
It is actually really complicated being in bands and shit. I think a lot of people, kind of laugh about it, but I mean, it's literally a family. It's a brotherhood, and we all reach a point where sometimes we annoy each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I bugged Matt. Matt's bugged me. Everybody somehow, some way along the line has bugged each other.
Right.
And finding the right way to get through that. And I've learned over time with Hex, trying to communicate things and everything, talk about it and shit.
Sure.
And just figure it all out.
Well, growing too as a musician, you realize that, and having the the stumbling, the stuff with Ben or any other members of different bands at that time, you're going to take that knowledge and work with it. You know what I mean? And there's always going to be regrets no matter what. I was just talking to an old member of Outside the Murder, and we were talking about that. That I think that he's like, hey man, you got anything new going on? He said, I'm jamming with a couple guys. We're doing some covers for a friend's like memorial service. He got kind of brought in from the guy who passed away's band to cover this guy's spot to learn some songs. And we started talking, and I was like, well, yeah, I had some people, you know, hit me up, and I hit up a couple people, and I actually had a full band ready to go.
Yeah.
And I think I really kind of like freaked myself out just by like realizing, holy shit, I got to start this dynamic all over again, you know, because everybody that I had talked to, they were people that I reached out to specifically because I'd either really dug what they had done in the past. And I thought, I think if I sat down with this person and tried to write, I think we could come up with some really cool shit. Yeah. But you know, that dynamic that when you get into a room with someone and if it doesn't jive right, now you have to figure out a way to get out of that situation. It's like a girlfriend situation, because you don't want to go, I'm going to do this and then I'm going to send you down the road because she's going to go and tell everybody that she knows that you're a fucking asshole over this whole day.
When I split up with the one chick, she flipped out, tried trapping me in the garage.
Yeah.
And I got out underneath it. She reopened it, and I got in my truck, and she smashed the grill of my fucking truck with a snow shovel. I mean, it looked like somebody took like black glass and smashed it on the ground, and it just shrapnel everywhere. Yeah. So don't ever go back when she tells you to leave the first time. Don't come back after that. Yeah. And I did. Yeah. I'm just saying.
That's just how it goes, man. You know, but
I think white women's.
I think I freaked myself out with the whole, you know, starting over to do music again. You know, I still have it in me. I really do want to play music, but you know that feeling of shit. If I get the wrong dudes in this situation at this time in my life when I'm almost fucking 50, I would love to be able to play more shows. I would love to just continue doing heavy shit because I think I still have it in me, and I know that I can still perform. It's just getting on stage with the right guys and then, you know, building it up, you know, building blocks, and then getting it on stage. If I look over and I see something that I don't like from all of the times that and you know, because you can correct it as you go. Yes. You can correct it as it go. But what if it's something that I really don't fucking like? For me, I'm just going to go, dude, really? Yep. Because there's guys that I jammed with that were like, you know, they'd get drunk and they'd get in front of a mic and they'd just start fucking talking over me and yap. And I'm just like, all right, let's not do that shit anymore. And then you go to practice and then people take it offensive too. You know what I mean? And and here's the thing is like, and I know you know how this goes with you know, Hex being kind of your baby, right? I mean, when you have an idea of how things are supposed to be.
Oh boy.
Well, no. I'm just saying, as a vocalist in every one of the bands that I've been in, I felt like I played a major role in getting booking by flyering, being out there, being the mouthpiece for it. And I'm not saying I took, you know, the leadership role, but for the most part, a lot of that shit rode on me. And I know you know, you can feel it. Now, here's the thing with the guys in Hex, every one of those guys, other than the bass player, I don't really know him that well, but every one of the guys in that band are professional dudes who could make the decision for that band without, you probably have the faith in those guys to be like, I know if he makes a decision, he knows he's making the decision on the benefit of the entire band. Where I've been in situations where I'd be like, don't fucking speak for the band because you are not that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're the drunk buffoon that goes over there and talks some stupid shit that I got to go over there and fucking smooth out because you can't keep your mouth shut. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't talk about other fucking bands at the show. Yep. Like, you want to talk shit, go into the studio and say, hey, I don't really care about that band because of this, and this. I appreciate that. I respect that. If you're going to talk shit, keep it to your fucking self. You know what I'm saying? Like, go over here. You know what I mean?
Well, and you know, that is one thing I'm grateful for with Hex is that, you know, I mean, like with my previous bands, you know, Kyle was always the man.
Yeah.
Kyle put together Four Blood. He put together Climactic.
Right.
And I've always loved playing in a band with Kyle because I knew that he had a vision, you know, but it was always his vision. And that's why Hex came around, because I had a vision.
Right.
You know, and even though I was at the beginning stages long before Hex was even a thought. You know, I was with other guys at the time working on material, and then Tom and I started jamming and so on. You guys have heard the story of how the band got together and shit, but you know, it's
no, you can share all of that if you want to. I don't care because
we got a bio on the fucking Facebook.
Yeah, and you can go back and watch the podcast that we'd done previous to this too. Yeah, many years ago, but at the same time, there's still content out there if you want to listen.
Yeah, but I mean now it's to the point where, like you said, and you're actually spot on with it, where Tom, Matt, Alan, any one of those guys is involved with, and sadly, those three are the ones that are involved with the shows and all that shit.
Right.
Like they're booking things and talking to people. Me, on the other hand, I'm the laborer guy. I'm back here going, dun, dun, dun. All right, cool. That's you know, doing that and writing lyrics.
Sure.
Like I'm promoting the band in a different sense with the Thrash Metal Studio stuff. And you know, making connections with other musicians, you know, through that. I mean, I've sold merchandise to people that are followers, subscribers of my YouTube page.
That's awesome.
Or we have sold merch. They bought albums and all that shit. So it's doing something. You know, I'm putting the effort and the money and the time into the Thrash Metal Studio stuff to not only do my thing, but also
it goes hand in hand too. Because I mean, you know, you may go, you know, trying out a new guitar that you're just stringing up, or you know what I mean, and
1200th one.
Yeah, but that's the thing. My whole thing is that, like with my last band, Outside the Murder, I felt like each one of those guys had been a leader of their prospective band before we came together. So I was confident that they were all the guys that I could jam with, and be confident that they're not going to go out and fuck things up, or they're all about the collective. You know what I'm saying? And I think at this late in the game, I feel like I'm just a little nervous about it, and I think I spooked myself out of starting another band. Like within the last few months, I'm like, I'm going to do something, and then it was 5 months before that I said the same thing. Hey, you want to do something? Fuck yeah, let's do it. You know, and then just never materialized because I just go back to that whole, you know, that Sisyphus type thing. I got the rock, I'm going to the top, and then I'm going to go poof, I'm back down here with the rock, and I go to back up again. You know, it's just kind of a weird deal. And we kind of we touched on the Thrash Metal Studio. Now, how did you get involved in content creation? Like, what was the first thing you started? Because it wasn't Thrash Metal Studio, it was another channel, right?
Yeah, I started. I made a decision to start working on cars at home.
Yeah,
you know, doing stuff for friends and shit like that. And I thought, you know what? Why don't I start up a YouTube page? Just have fun with it. And you know, it started from ground zero. I had 0 subscribers, and I worked my way up to, I want to say it was like 5,400, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was like 3 years, almost 4 years worth of just going at it, doing it. And I'm talking like being underneath a car, doing, doing a timing cover and an oil pan gasket on an engine. And I had my camera or my phone, and I would set it up against something. I would record that angle, record that, and I'd go into iMovie and I'd do it all on my phone.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow, that's cool.
And it got to the point where that channel was cool and everything, but it was I had too many people calling me, and it made me feel like I was on call, and I no longer had my personal time.
Yeah.
And I had to put a stop to it. And you know, you kind of figure out who's who out of the group, you know, if you don't hear from them anymore. And it sucks, you know, but at the end of the day too, you know, I helped them out, they helped me out in that time, and I appreciate it. But it just reached a point where that channel was too much, and I just said, you know what, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I deleted everything off of it.
How many videos do you have on that thing?
Oh God, I probably had over 200 something. Damn. You know, so I mean, it was a lot of work that I put into that moment, but at the same time, you know, I was already approved with Google AdSense and everything, so I got my other page, Thrash Metal Studio, signed up on it, and I started up Andrew the Mechanic again, just for the hell of it, to do stuff about my bike or my truck and shit, you know, just to have fun on it.
Yeah.
So even now, I just want to delete it because there's just there's plenty of other people out there making videos of shit that I do.
Right.
And it's kind of the same respect too same thing with Thrash Metal Studio.
Yeah.
I could do a review about a Fender jazz bass, but you know what? There's 1,500 other videos about a Fender jazz bass.
Yeah, but they don't do them like you, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like
I've heard that
I've tuned in and the aesthetic of the room, dude. You know what I mean? Like you have it set up really cool. What you talk about and how you go into it and how you interact with your fans and your viewers and shit. It's real. It's personal. They can talk to you about anything. They can ask you questions, and dude, you will go into things in depth. You go, well, this is I was doing this in fucking 2004. I bought this guitar, and then you pick it up, you're showing it, you know what I mean? Dude, I sat there just going, this is fucking really cool.
You know what the sad thing is about that? Is that there's people that will actually take the time to comment on videos. Like my Far Beyond Driven, oh hi.
No, that's
my
right.
Far Beyond Driven Dean guitar,
Yeah.
you know, Dimebag's guitar. I did a video doing a demo of the 2 different pickups that I put in it.
Yeah.
Somebody actually put a timestamp on there and said, here, if you want to skip past all this bullshit babble. And I'm thinking, you took time out of your day not only to watch the video, so not only did I make money off of your bullshit, but then you posted on here. So now I took more time from you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, but you can't please everybody with it. There's always going to be somebody that's got something negative to say, but that's only like 0.0001 of that 99 point.
Do you still pay attention to the negative shit, or do you just like?
I have fun with it.
Yeah.
Like it's like going back to like 6th grade and just going, your mom.
Dude,
Like, I don't care.
John Wheeler does the best with it because he purposely does the shit because he's like, I know if I piss someone off, it's just going to get me more fucking revenue coming at me. He's like, they'll go to some other dumb kid, and that dude and that dude and that dude will all come at me, and I'll just talk nonsense to him. You know what I mean? It is hilarious to me. I'm a fragile little bitch. I'll be like, oh yeah, fuck you, meet me, meet me at the holiday on fucking.
Oh my god. I should make up a fake page and just go on there and talk a bunch of shit and be like, come on, man, I'll whoop your ass.
I forgot to tell you, Tom Croxton, drummer of Hex Vortices, says, tell Andy this better be good.
Oh, it'll be good. I got to put my glasses on in order to see it. I'm trying not to push the envelope with anything, guys. Don't worry.
Hey, Tom says, hey, Andy, can you do my breaks?
Bite me.
Life of Bobby says, I support your friends' bands, even if you are not totally into it. There might be other people you know who may like it, share the music, and be connected. I agree with you. And I do a lot. I love, I'm not in a band personally, but any band or any members of the band that I really like, I will take extra time to download their stuff and listen to it and actually give it a fair shake instead of just going, yeah, dude, I bought the CD. Thanks a lot. It's awesome. You know what I mean? And setting it, like you said, in the bin, finding it 20 years later. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. A band like Mothwa, those guys are salt of the earth dudes. Their music is awesome. You know what I mean? And I'll always listen to that stuff. Beastface, you guys. I said this to Tom and Matt. I think you guys don't get enough love. I honestly feel like you don't get the respect. You guys have been around for a while now. You know what I'm saying? And I think that you guys throw the fuck down. I really do. And when you guys played Lee's, every time you guys just kicked ass. You know, and a lot of times you guys ended up headlining the stuff. You know what I mean? And it means so much. It's so much different than when we were kids. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
There was actual merit to it back then. You know what I mean? If you could hold a crowd, it meant that you were doing something well. You know what I mean? Now we're to the age where everybody's like, shit, it's 10:30. I better get last call closer to my house.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. And if this is my last day in the band, I love all of you. Okay, so the first subject, like, about local bands and supporting your friends and everything. There's like on the way here. Okay, I'll rewind. Okay. Fucking Joe Pesci. You motherfucker.
They fuck you in the drive-thru. They fuck you.
Yes. So, I know you got a couple years on me, but, if you rewind 20 years, 2002, for me, Martyr AD, Devil Inside, Disembodied, Grimace, you guys Sublevel.
Yep.
And I want to say, God, who else was there? I know, those were the 5 that stuck out to me.
Sure.
Because I was going to Quest for Mayhem's,
Yep.
right? There wasn't this, oh, let's support everybody and let's do this and do that. You know, like all these award shows and just all this, like, dude, if a band sucks, a band sucks. It is what it is. They will sink their own ship. They will bury themselves.
Yep.
Whatever. Let them do their thing. But
Yep.
We're from the era where we didn't need these pick-me-up. Everybody gets an award for participating.
Yeah.
All right. If people put their money where their mouth is and they prove themselves.
Yeah.
They put the effort in, they put the time in, they advertise, they make up new merch, they get their albums done, do all this shit. If they put their time in, people will notice that. People will recognize that, you know. And the bands from back in the day I really vibe off of, you know, the 5 that I listed off. They're huge influences to me now. For me now, and again, it's the age thing. I don't go out a whole lot anymore. I still have my particular bands that I really like from the scene.
Right.
Now, it doesn't mean that I don't like all these other bands, but I like what I like.
Sure.
You know, and it's hard for me. And I've even had somebody that wasn't in the band to call me out on it. Well, you still need to do this and still need to do that. I'm not obligated to do shit.
Yeah.
I do what I want to do.
Yep.
I'm not going to sit there and.
It's just Andy being Andy.
It is. No, and you know, it can sound rude, you know, to the wrong ears and everything. It's not what I mean by any means. I mean, I'm wearing a Maniacal Force hat.
Yeah,
Why?
because that band is fucking legit,
rules.
dude. They are legit, dude.
I heard them, and I just went-
I heard good things. Dude, I had tacos with the drummer.
You had tacos with the drummer?
He came over. We all bought tacos. We all went back. We ate them at North Star Bar, right? So we're talking to each other in the line and shit. I had no idea he was the drummer, you know? Dude, when they fucking started playing, my fucking face just peeled back. I was like, damn, dude. And I wasn't able to stay for the whole set, but I was blown the fuck away. Those guys are heavy as balls, dude.
Yeah. And that's the thing, too. Like, as soon as they got done, I went up. I said, you guys are right in the fucking vein of Misery Index, and I'm a huge fan of them guys. I said, you got a new fan. I bought an album. I bought a hat that day.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the thing is that, you know, there's a lot of bands. I mean, Demonicon.
Yeah.
I still fucking love Demonicon.
Yeah.
They're awesome. You know, remember Creeping Charlie?
Yeah.
Hi, we're Creeping Charlie, and we break stuff.
Yep.
Fucking singer smashed a fucking boombox right in the middle of the floor at Java Z or Java Joint.
Yeah, yeah.
Blew the fucker up, you know. But that's the thing is that, you know, certain bands do things for me, and that's who I gravitate to. You know, there's plenty of people out there that will support and all that, and I support anybody that we play shows with. You know, it's just one of them things, man.
Yeah.
You know, I think we all have particular music that we like.
Sure.
You know, I don't get into gent music.
Yeah.
I like After the Burial, but I don't listen to it really anymore.
Right.
You know, it's just how I am. You know, I like particular things, but you know, as far as the Hex stuff goes and everything, and that probably just got me in trouble right there. You know, talking about all that shit.
Not at all.
You know, but as far as the Hex thing goes, quite honestly, you know, like we came out in 16.
Yep.
Or we started jamming together. I think it was in like 14 or 15, somewhere in there, and then we played our first show January 1st of 16.
Yeah.
And I think we had maybe a couple shows in there. All 17, nothing.
Wow.
Not a band would reach out to us. Not a band would show interest. Not a band would pursue anything further with us. I think that's what it was. I think it was 17. It was either 16 or going into 17. You know, through that time period. But I know it was a solid year.
Now, were you guys booking shows on your own and trying to push it forward?
We were trying. I think we played down in Iowa, down in Des Moines, and you know, ever since then, you know, like we have had show offers come up and whatnot. And we tried landing that Propane show twice, you know, thanks to a fucking guitar player that got held up at the border, and then COVID, we got fucked out of it twice.
Right.
Damn it.
Yeah.
But you know, oddly enough, I feel like we've almost been blacklisted in a sense, where I don't know if it's what we're doing, if we're intimidating. That sounds cocky, and I don't mean it like. If anyone that knows me knows I'm pretty damn humble. I just do what I do.
Sure.
I'm not out to try to take over the world or any of that shit.
Right.
But you know, either it's intimidation or it's we're not good enough, or you know, we're a threat or something. I don't know what it is.
Right.
But for some reason, I've tried setting up shows. Nope.
Which is weird to me because, like I said, even when Tim was in the band, you know what I mean? Like every guy in the band were all solid cats. It wasn't like I would go, that's the guy right there is why I wouldn't play with him. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a guy in your band or has been in your band to me where I would say, well, he's been an asshole to this guy over here, and that's why he's not getting connected for some odd reason. Yeah. But, you know, like we were talking about before, like I do things very like organically too, you know, like even with the podcast, like if I hear about a band, like I've heard about my Maniacal Force, like I want to say about a year, maybe even longer, people going, dude, these guys are good. These guys are good. Oh, I'll get to see them. I'll get to see them. Begravement's one. Yep. Agony Reigns is another one that I like. I didn't get a chance to see them till they opened for somebody big, and then I was like, these guys are fucking kids, and they are throwing the fuck down. You know what I mean? Like, you hear the buzz a little bit, but then once you get a chance to see him, you're blown away. Like Maniacal Force, I was just going, holy shit!
Maniacal Force feels like a band that's been out for about 10 years.
Yes,
and
dude.
That's what I gravitate to. That I gravitate to the professionalism, and just the overall dedication.
Legit.
Like, they're a fucking solid band. Yeah. They're all great dudes. I instantly went up and introduced myself.
Yeah,
not for the sake
musicianship too. Energy, all of that.
I mean, I went up to him being genuine, like, dude, I want to be your friend because you guys are fucking cool. Like, not about, it wasn't, you know, first and foremost, it's about actually building a relationship, an acquaintance, a friendship, you know?
Yep.
And, you know, if we play shows together, hell yeah, dude, I'm all about it. Oh, God.
Fucking Matt. Okay, here, we got to back up a little bit here because I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Andy.
No, it's all good, man. I know, I should probably look and see what all everybody said.
Let's see here. Your dad says, "Yep, sometimes too much." It says sometimes too much. Although he's got something new each week. The
gear.
And then let me see here. Steel Corner 27 says, "Yeah, it sure is really easy to watch. I found myself watching one of those live streams where you were just trying to trace out cables to a switcher for 2 hours." And he said, "I couldn't turn it off because I know the frustration." And then we must have got into this conversation, and Matt Hamilton goes, "Here we go." Matt Taylor says, "Tacos with the Drummer" is a great band name. Thanks for that, man. It is actually your
Tacos with the Drummer.
That should actually be the name of my next band. Greg says, right. When you're right, and you, Andy, are always right.
Yeah.
Tom Croxton says late 2014 is what he said. And then some Russian bot says VOR.ONG.
Dude, they're after me. They're coming from my page is what they're fucking doing.
Really?
I know it. Yeah, I get spammed all the time. Either they're Ukrainian or they're Russian. It's somebody over there from Mother Russia.
Yeah, they're trying to get you to throw the election for them.
Thank him. I kind of like.
Yeah,
he seems like a nice guy. He's like, dude, Putin. You could trust Putin to say a full sentence without screwing it up.
Yeah,
and he'll wrestle a bear.
Yeah, that dude's ruthless, man.
Right?
That dude's ruthless. I seen a video of him going to like a business meeting with this bigwig CEO, and he basically told the guy, "You're going to give this much to this, you're going to give this much to that, and I'm taking this, like it or fuck off," basically, or go to prison.
It was like a group of business guys, and he just straight out he laid it right out. Yeah. I'm going to shut up. But at the end of the day, dude, I mean, there's a lot of solid bands that are from the cities, and I would love to play with a lot of them different bands, you know. And I feel as if, you know,
yes, Truls,
with the type of you know, like you talk about it with the individuals that are in the band. I mean, Tom's
salt of the earth, dude.
Shit.
Yeah,
Tom's done a lot of shit.
Veteran,
he's got a lot of clout.
Yes, 18
or 19 albums, I think you've been on. I mean, that's more than a lot of us, dude.
Nationally touring bands.
Absolutely, you know. Matt, very talented guitar player, you know, kind of new, kind of not to the scene, you know. But I mean, he's, you know, doing the Hex stuff, and he's got Galloglass Scourge with Tom.
Scourge.
And, you know, and then Alan's been in different bands throughout his time of playing and shit. Yep. So I mean, like, all of us not only pride ourselves on our equipment, but our talent, you know. Even when we record,
songwriting, dude. You guys' songwriting is solid as shit. And I was listening to that Precipice before you came, and it's good stuff all the way through.
I'm immensely proud for what we've accomplished in our time of being a band, and you know, whether you know, whether I open up for Crowbar again, but I mean, whether, you know, the thing I'm most proud of is that I, not only with this band, but with my musical journey, so to speak, is that I've recorded my band's own album.
Yep.
I've written material for one full album.
Yeah.
You know, nobody else had an influence with the guitar shit. It was all me.
Yeah.
You know, Matt came in on Revival, and he added a lot of cool elements to it, which is really cool. But it's the groundwork to it was just shit that I had built up, just fucking writing, you know, and opening up for Crowbar, dude. I mean, you know me, I'm a Crowbar fan through and through. If I don't look like Kurt 20 years younger, I don't know what I think.
Right.
But I mean, there's a lot of accomplishments that I'm proud of, and you know, I would like to see Hex get a few more of those notches, you know, and
in this particular climate with what, you know, what's going on right now and the mandates and, you know, forcing people to do things that they don't necessarily want to or need to, you know what I'm saying? It really sets the stage for something really difficult right now for musicians, you know, to back up a little bit, to be able to be active and creative in the beginning of that, to me is a feat in itself. To stay together, to not throw your hat in and just go fuck it.
How many bands split up in the scene?
How many venues either burnt down or that we lost, or we're still losing some now with what is it? Part Wolf just sold not that long ago.
Well, when people are shooting each other across the street, I don't want to go down there.
Right.
You know, I don't have time for it. I can't carry a pistol into the bar.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Whether that's, you know, well, I mean, yeah, you know, I can't do certain things that I want to do, but yeah, and that's what's frustrating is that as soon as COVID started affecting the things that I do, that's when I started getting really pissed.
Right.
And it wasn't at anyone, it was just at the subject itself. But, you know, now, you know, and I know we've talked about this and I've expressed it, you know, and different opinions and everything, but the struggle now is trying to get the listener. And even after COVID is long gone and everything, it's still trying to figure out how the hell to get Joe that listens to Exodus and all this other shit that I listen to, that, you know, the music that I write, how do I get him to get off his ass and come down to a venue and pay $5 or $10 to watch us play?
Right.
How do I do that? How do we do that? How do us as musicians get the listener to come see us? Because I love all of my friends that are in the scene that come see us play, and I try to go see people as much as I can.
Sure.
I don't want to see you anymore. Right. I want to see different people, because that's the point of playing music. I love the support, and I love getting it.
You know what I think? I think that was lost, I want to say, right around 2004.
I blame Napster.
Well,
and in part, but
I blame MySpace. That's who I blame, because it became a situation where you wanted to get as many people in your area to be on your page so you could send them an invite for something. Simple. Yep. But if you go to an Exodus concert and stand outside and do it like we used to do it, but here's the thing is that with Sublevel, Necromus, any of the bands that I'd ever been in, if I was out flyering, I was also out there talking too. You know what I mean? Sure. Bullshitting, going, hey man, you're here to see who? Who did you come to see tonight? And if it's the first band, any of the fucking bands, right? You're there for the show. You relate with them. Oh, dude, I saw them at First Avenue this year, and this year.
Yep.
I play in this band, dude. If you like that type of shit, this is what you should come check out, man. It's a local band. We're right here. You can see us every other fucking month in one spot or another. If you come to the website, drop a link, check it out. You know what I mean? Like, I see people to this fucking day. Now, if you know me, you know that I've done this podcast for 10 fucking years already, right? You should know that at least a couple times a week, I'm sharing every fucking flyer that I've seen that goes from, I think the furthest out I have is September of 2022. You know what I'm saying? So I have flyers from September all the way up till next week. You know what I'm saying? I still see people go, what's going on this weekend? And I go, I can't find where the shows are. And I'm like, dude, go to my page. I share shit every week. And that's the fucking algorithm being fucked up because you get pushed way down in the line. Nobody sees your shit anymore.
And that's the thing. And
you're not paying for it.
and I'm, you know, that's where I need to make the changes. I need to take a look at your page, and I need to start participating in these shows, because I know there's some great bands out there I haven't discovered, but you know, I need to put that effort in and, you know, make myself known again, you know, because I'm kind of a fucking hermit. But yeah, with MySpace, I remember going on there, like I started nagging the guys that were in Enola Gray or Cabal, because I wanted those songs that were on their player for the longest time, but you can't get them now. Yeah. And, but I mean,
dude, I remember doing that so much. And you, like, when you go to their page to check to see when they're going, that tune would start right away, and then it would catch you, and then you'd go, okay, I got to listen to this whole thing.
Song. Yeah. Anyone out there that has any of the Cabal stuff, Swallowing Cobras was the name of the song.
What a great song name.
Oh, holy fuck. Like, Mike Fischetti is one of them singers that got me instantly. Yeah. He's a fucking powerhouse, and he just, he had this fucking voice to him, and I always wanted to emulate that. Like, I was always influenced by him. He was a big influence, you know, but, damn it, with MySpace and everything, I agree with that, and I think that's what I was going for when I said Napster. Napster's a different element, but as soon
now,
as,
if we're talking record labels and all of that shit,
we'll get to that.
That was very much the downfall of all of that.
But there was no ads.
That changed absolutely changed the whole dynamic of and if you think about it, when you look back at some of those contracts if you think about all those bands that we grew up on, you know what I mean? They signed shitty contracts, but they toured and toured and toured.
They could tour.
A record label was basically like a bank and a distributor all in one thing. Like, they funded you to do this. Here's the thing about the olden days, right? So
back in the day,
they would see or they would hear the buzz about this particular band. They would send an A&R out and you know, an A&R out there to check it out. You'd play a showcase for this A&R guy. He would go back to the thing. He would say, okay, we're going to sign you to this specific type of deal, a working deal or whatever. They would put some money into you and polish you up, get you in with a good engineer, and off they would send you. They'd put you in all these magazines if they really believed in you. I mean, Head Charge was one of those bands that did that type of shit too, where they got a big buildup, and that was like the tail end of people and record labels doing that type of shit. They got a huge deal. They you know, I mean, they got a bunch of money. They you know, they toured around. They got put in every fucking magazine. They did a ton of shoots. They did all, you know, I mean, they had a ton of shit behind them. But at about that time is when that shit stopped. You know what I mean? Not many record labels will put time and money into bands anymore. You look at, you know, 1459 and you know, Rob's stuff, the Twin Town Tyrant Records, you know what I mean? He's helping people put their stuff out. Those guys, you know, Will is helping those guys put their stuff out. You know what I mean? Will's giving people good. I mean, it just blows me away that can cripple a fucking
the industry. Yeah, the industry was literally kicked right in the nuts when MySpace came out. And the sad thing is that we didn't realize what it was, because you got to figure the industry was fun. It was. Oh God, what?
Nothing. I was just,
I see that chat forum just flying.
It just pops up and pops up. Let me see here. Tom says 28 albums to date. Jesus, dude, that is amazing, dude.
What a whore. God damn, dude.
Let me see here. I understand. Oh, Adam says, I understand where you're coming from, Mr. Andrew. Trying to book shows is difficult. It's clicks if you, hold on. It clicks
with dicks
if if you don't fit the mold that they keep you out. It's quite frustrating. And Adam has brought this up many times. And maybe, Adam, this is a question for Andrew when it comes to this. Adam always asks about gatekeepers. Do you feel like there are gatekeepers in the music community here? And if so, how do you deal with them when you encounter one?
I almost said the first words that come to my
head. That's what I love about you, dude.
I feel like Jim Carrey and Liar Liar.
Yeah.
I want to squeeze him. Okay.
Mama. I want to suck him. It's because your boobs are huge. Dude, that was one of my favorite fucking parts of that movie, dude. I died in that when he was in that.
You're a whore.
Yeah. It's because your boobs are huge. I want to suck them.
All right, so
Mama.
it's just, I'm sorry. The trainer that I was with last week, we started going on a Dumb and Dumber kick.
Yeah.
We were talking about the one where just when I thought you couldn't get any dumber, you go do this
Yeah.
and totally redeem yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gets like 90 miles to the gallon. All right. Okay, so a gatekeeper would be an individual and or a group of people that puts a stranglehold on the ability of another band being able to either perform with them and or move forward and or progress forward.
Yep.
Have I encountered that indirectly? Yeah, I would say I have. Have I encountered it directly? I can't say yay or nay to that, really, honestly. I don't know. But if they are, fuck them. That's what I wanted to say, fuck them.
Jeff from Simothwa says, gatekeepers just became moral champions.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? Hi, Jeff. No, dude, you know what? Put it this way. I got no time for people like that.
Yeah.
If people feel that high and mighty,
Yeah.
fuck them.
Yeah.
I don't care because I have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
All right? I have nothing to lose. I will keep playing music until the cows come home.
Right.
I don't care.
Right.
Because I'm not going to let one group of people dictate what my band can do.
Right.
And I know that my band can perform. I know we can write. I know we can be professional.
Yep.
And I know we can get our shit done.
Yep.
We're the only band I know of that can strike gear. The USS Croxton, along with all our other gear, we can literally stage our gear. I know, right? We can.
You're talking about his gigantic
Yes.
drum set.
Yes.
I'm assuming, yes.
No, his personality. Love
He's
you, Tom.
such a sweetheart.
But I mean, we pride ourselves on that shit, and I don't see that a whole lot. And that's one thing that I want us to be known for is that we were professional all the way around. Even if we're not around anymore, I want it to still be known for a little while because
Right.
without that, then what are you? You're just another band that's taking up a spot on stage that's hindering other bands. But it's just one of those things, man, where I don't have time for the shit anymore. I'm 40, and I don't care.
Well, and I think that is really the point of it all. You know what I'm saying? Because I know you, and I know the type of person that you are, and I know Tom, and you guys aren't gonna fucking settle to just have a roadblock drop in front of you.
Nope.
You guys are like true pioneers of the shit. You know what I mean? Like you guys are diehards. So you're not going to stop me. I'm going to find a way to go over you, through you, around you. It doesn't matter. If you think that you're going to stop me, you're fucking sadly mistaken. And I think a lot of people these days, I think a lot of people falter on someone who is being critical of their shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of people will go, well, maybe it's not for them. Maybe it's not what they like. Yeah. And maybe you're putting too much weight on what the fuck they care about. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and that's like
where to me,
yeah.
I'm always been one of those guys, like if you don't like it, step up and get dealt with, really. You know what I mean? And I'm not that way anymore. I'm not a scrapper anymore like that. But here's the thing is, like, I'm not going to let anybody stop me from what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like, we could go on multiple tangents
absolutely
about that specific thing, but at the end of the day, you looking at it and just going, I don't have any time for those people is the best way to solve that situation, because if you don't give them time, they have no power.
Yes. If people are willing to waste their time on me, meaning if they're willing to talk shit or slander or rip apart, whatever you want to call it, then it's only time away from their life that they're spending dedicating it to me.
Right.
And that's cool. I win.
Yeah.
I took shit back in high school by people I thought that were my friends.
Yeah.
And I think that made me the way I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
And then 30s came around and I met my wife.
Yeah.
And she kind of tamed me down a little bit, and then
sanded the edges.
Yes. Yep. She fine-tuned me, and for her, I became a better person.
Yeah.
And I feel better. And with everything going on right now with COVID and all that shit, I accept mortality.
Right.
And I could go tomorrow.
Right.
So I'm going to have as much of a good attitude and as much fun as I can.
Sure.
And granted, with the band, we have our limitations, but we're still trying to branch out. We're still trying to play out of the state. We're still trying to write music.
Right.
You know, it's hard right now. Everyone's got their own things going on right now in their lives, and we're still trying to push forward. You know, I feel bad when I don't come through with something I say I'm going to do.
Right.
You know, and I have to try to get that done when I have time, you know, but at the end of the day, what matters most is that the band is happy and that we're all individually happy with what we're doing and shit. And we just keep moving forward as much as we can, you know, and I'm not going to let anything get in the way of that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I have other desires musically that I would like to take on. You know, I mean, Matt's doing it with Tom.
What's that?
Matt's doing it with Tom. But I mean, no, like, you know, and I don't, right? That's second time I caught myself tonight. But I mean, you know, Alan, Matt, and Tom, they're doing the Gavel Glass Scourge stuff. And go do it. Have fun. You know, that's cool, man. We still have Hex. We're still doing that, you know. I want to do a hard rock-esque blues style, you know, latent band. I mean, that's my thing. I want to front a 3-piece heavy band that plays that style of rock blues, you know, and sing. And so, you know, musically, I'm going to keep doing whatever the hell I do. You know, so with the whole gatekeeper thing and shit like that, you know, there's clicks, there's fads, there's all that stuff in all different genres of music. And whether it's in all of the genres here in the Twin Cities or not, I don't know. But, you know, I kind of took a shot at the Medis thing, you know, indirectly. And really, I've never really cared for the Medis.
Sure.
I don't care what it was all about.
Right.
I understood what it was all about, but we didn't need it back in the day because bands were top notch. Bands were there. Everyone whooped ass. Dude,
it was different. It was different.
I loved going to all those Quest for Mayhems. My girlfriend hated it because all of a sudden we were going every Friday.
Yeah.
I didn't care if I saw a 2-ton crutch for the 500th time.
Yeah.
But dude, you know what? They played.
Yeah.
Everyone that got on that Quest stage just fucking threw down. When I saw Devil Inside, I instantly went up to them after that set.
I loved those guys.
And I asked them, I said, "Are you looking for a second guitar player?"
Yeah.
And they were giving me shit because they were older guys. They were seasoned. They're like, "Oh, who's this fucking long-haired young kid?" Well, you're gonna have to cut your hair.
Yeah.
You know. And I never actually got to be in the band. Andy Crow got the job and shit. But you know what? I was blown away.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been in bands in at major shows that we've opened up for bands. We opened up for Black Dahlia Murder, and somebody thought that we were one of the nationals that ended up not being able to play the show.
Right.
Because we put forth that effort to be a professional, tight, just solid band.
Yeah. It meant something, dude. It really does mean something, man, when you put the work in, you know? I mean, here's the thing is like,
I know everyone had good intentions with the Medis, and I hope you don't take that the wrong way. Again, I have to play cleanup crew here, but I don't want it to be misconstrued. I think everybody did. Everybody has the best of intentions putting a show like that together or an event like that together. It's just, it's hard being an older musician in a scene where you see this going on, but you knew how it was before.
Right.
And it just doesn't feel right. You know,
well, you know, and that's the thing, and I you know, I ended up emceeing all of those. You know what I mean? And the reason that I believed in it so much is because I know where it was coming from with Bill, and I know that Bill had his honest, true heart involved in it.
Yes.
Here's the thing that I do see what everybody else was seeing at the time, being from the inside of it. Now, when you are a guy trying to start something like that, you don't really necessarily have all the connections that you need to make that happen, right? So then it's kind of like a presidential race, okay? You're going to take donations or help from anyone you can, and eventually, whether you believe it or not, you're going to be partial to that help. You're going to be partial to their bands. You're going to be partial to the people who helped you get to the goal that you wanted to achieve, right? Now, there was a lot of shit given for the Buried Above Ground guys being involved in it, and because there was so much pushed towards them, you know. But as it went on, it changed and it started to move to open to more things. And a lot more people seemed to get more pissed about it because they were like, there were bands that would show up that expected to get an award. And that was the thing. Bands that were successful here and actually touring outside of the state. Here's where I think that people get a little fucked up. Now, I think that if you're a local band, right? You play locally and that's really all you do.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You may go out here and you might go out there, but you're not buying onto a tour. You're not going outside of your state for long extended periods of time. There are bands like Deterioration that have been doing it 20 fucking years on their own dime, you know, making their own t-shirts, selling their own merch, going and DIYing shows and DIYing basement shows in other states, sleeping on fucking people's couches on the floor. You know what I mean? These guys, to me, are not local bands anymore. Do they play locally? Sure they do. But they are touring bands. Bands like Incinerate that doesn't get any love in this fucking state either. Bands like fucking Vidiosis that have been all over the fucking place. I am so
impressed. Yeah, for what I know, I'm really impressed with them guys. I mean, what they did going to South America and shit.
Well,
who has the balls to do that?
Right. Absolutely. And you have to tip your hat to that because they're not just saying I'm staying here and that's it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there are a lot of bands that you know think they deserve more than, like, okay, and I'm going to say this flat out, like Gabriel and Apocalypse, okay? There are people that shit on those guys all the time. They're talented people. They're good songwriters. They jumped in a fucking vehicle and they got the fuck out of here. They made fans all over the fucking place, okay? She's doing a lot of stuff with her fashion thing, with clothes. I mean, they've got their hands in a lot of different shit, okay? But to me, they're not just a local band anymore. They're out there fucking doing their hustle. I mean, granted, they might be in a hiatus right now, not doing very much right now, but at the same time, there are a lot of bands that I know that are top-notch fucking bands. Beastface should be on the road. Trita should be on the road. Fucking, dude, Cobra Czar should be on the fucking road. And they should stay out on the road because they're that talented. Maniacal Force, they should be on the fucking road. Yep. There's no reason why an Agony Reigns shouldn't be on the fucking road. Coffin Rights, they should be on the fucking road. All of these bands that are here, Hex Vortices should be on the fucking road because you guys are talented enough to get the fuck out there and shine the light not only on yourselves, but all these other talented musicians around us. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like, this podcast showcases more local bands than any other shit that I mean, I have avenues to talk to people that are already famous. I could talk to them. I talk to fucking a bunch of them. But the fact of the matter is that this is what gave me love, is this state. You know what I mean? And there are so many talented people here, but they sell themselves short and they don't just jump in something. And we're to the age right now where you really can't. Yeah. You know, I mean, not many musicians right now, especially in the middle of this COVID bullshit, are gonna jump in a van and go, fuck it, we're gonna throw caution in the wind, go out with, 7 shirt designs and fucking, our last 5 albums, we got 500 of each one, and just go play for no one on a Tuesday night in fucking, Omaha.
It's hard enough even now, you're playing a Club Underground show or playing the Terminal.
Yeah. Yep.
Barely anybody came out to that show.
Yeah.
Even our CD release party.
Yeah.
I know I'm kind of sitting back, but barely anybody came out to that.
Yeah.
And it was really disheartening because the preach of come out and support the bands and okay, where are you?
Well, I think
preach it, but you don't.
I think before COVID, man.
It was before COVID.
And I want to say, dude, and this is something that it still kills me, and I've talked about it a bunch with in the podcast that when I came back, it's the whole Lee's thing for me, because James Rhines, Old Quest guy, Mill City. I mean, worked for Prince. You know what I mean? Like James believed in me to do some metal shows, and gave me the rein to not fuck the thing up. And people got mad at me because I wouldn't let other people book at that place, but I didn't want it to become a shit show circus with a small. I mean, You can imagine a guy like James who's running the entire bar, staffing the place, making sure everything is, but he still wants to support metal.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And he goes, "Here, dude, I've known you forever. Come here, do this for me." We made sure there was always drink specials. We made sure that there was always people safe. There was no fucking fights in that place ever. There were no fucking fights in that. When that shit went down, dude, it just seemed like everybody kind of scrambled. You know what I mean? Like we're all looking for, even we had shows booked out that we had to find. DRI was one of them. There was a handful of shows. There was a band, the Music Teachers, the one Tom Tier played drums for.
Oh yeah, like School of Rock or something, or like one of those things.
Something Teachers of the. Anyway, that band had wanted to bring a band that would a national band to the Lees, and we had this all set, and they had set it all up, and then it closed, and I had to contact them, and they're like, "Well, fuck, what are we supposed to do? Where are you gonna put us?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't know. Yeah. Your guess is as good as mine. I have no clue." You know what I mean? And just kind of trying to point people in different directions. Like I think Will might, one of his bands may have had a show set up and then we had to move it, and it was just fucking chaos. But dude, I think that there's a weird vibe here which I don't get sometimes, where people do click up. There's certain groups of people, like there at one point there was like all these thrash bands doing these house shows in Minneapolis, and it was like St. Paul and Minneapolis 5 minutes apart from each other. Minneapolis won't go to St. Paul won't go to Minneapolis, and it's been like that for years, dude. And since Quest for Mayhem's, once that shit went away, Urban Wildlife went away, nobody really went back over to Minneapolis. You've got the Hexagon, which the Hexagon, which was, dude, I never even had ambitions to play that place ever. Dude, when we worked at the Mirage, we'd go over to the Octagon.
The Octagon,
but I never wanted to play there. It was like a punk place. It was like a spot where punk bands played all the time and shit
Eagles
like that.
34.
Yeah.
I think that kind of has that vibe to it, where it's got that Pabst Blue Ribbon jean vest jacket thing.
Yeah.
Kind of going Vans.
VFW. That's what it feels like to me. A VFW. Yeah. It's like a ballroom. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't have any problems with that. I'm glad that the people are still doing shows there and all of that stuff. But it seems to like, people don't want to intermingle with each other, and it bothers me, man.
The one time that we played there, nobody showed up. Again, it's one of those things where, you kind of reach a point where, when you have an expectation, all right, when you have someone that you expect something out of, and they constantly let you down, you don't really put a lot of effort into that anymore. You have a friend of yours that used to be so cool, and then all of a sudden they kind of just start drifting away and doing their shit, and they got new friends. Maybe they're doing drugs, drinking, whatever. Yeah. And you step away from it, and that's kind of what it feels like now. Like you reach a point where you realize how hard it is to try to get a show together, just to get everybody's schedule aligned, to be able to pick a date. Yeah. Deal with the messaging back and forth, all that bullshit, and then there's nobody there. Like, you put all that effort in, maybe you even paid to try to get advertisement for it or something or whatever, Yeah. So it's really hard to be motivated to keep pushing forward to keep trying to book shows locally. And that's why I want to step outside the box and try to play out, whether it be Des Moines or Fargo or Bismarck, wherever. I mean, dude, we're playing Sioux Falls. Yep. Same thing, trying to get out. I mean,
that is a spot though that you really do want to rub elbows with Les out there at Biggs. That's where you're playing, right? You're playing with Semtex out there. Yes. That was the deal. Now Les does the Slam Dakota thing, and if you guys aren't on that, you should be, because it is a really good fucking festival that a lot of people show up to, and it's just a good boost in that area. You know what I'm saying? And guys like I think about guys like Gorgatron, right?
Oh, fucking Gorgatron
is absolutely amazing, and they're a band that you wouldn't say, oh well, that's strictly a North Dakota band. Yes, they're from North Dakota, but they play fucking everywhere. Yeah, you know what I mean? You give them a fucking sandwich and they'll be there to play. You know what I'm saying? They are great. They're heavy, and I've been saying it forever, man. You gotta fucking make the effort to start making a track, whether it's up to RT Quinlan's and fucking Duluth, or one of them, what is it? Blush has been doing a bunch of thrash shows up there, metal
Really?
shows. Blush is the name of the place.
Okay,
Blush
that's
or
good
Plush. And JT Quinlan's is another one up
I
there.
didn't know there was anywhere to play.
There's a ton of places to play up there. That's what's crazy is you just have to know people up there, and it's there's like nobody putting on shows, but they can. That's the thing. They can fucking put on shows if they want to, and nobody's tapping into that market.
What's the house band up there, Jaundice? Are they still a band?
Yes, they are, but I don't know if they're super active anymore. Jaundice is one. What is it? Scarred Inc. Aaron White's band.
Not familiar.
Scarred Inc. is a band they're a good fucking band up there too. And he does the Northern Wisconsin Metal Fest. That's something you should hit him up to do again too. That's
like southeast of
Superior. Yeah. Yep. It's that fucking
that island. There's an island up there.
Yeah.
There's something that people go to.
It's what the fuck is Wasco's. Wasco's is the place that he throws that show on, and it's actually a pretty fun show, camping and all that shit. You know, it's like
intense,
dude. It really is like an old timer party. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's around they're around their tents, drinking beers, talking shit, watching metal outside. It's actually really fun.
You want to know what bummed me out? Well, I was on a truck route going out past Somerset, and I saw Float Right.
Yeah,
it tore my heart out, dude. I'm like, dude,
that place used to be so cool.
Oh my god, getting shit housed all I remember is when I went out there with Tim Morton, and our friend Nicole and Derek and this Liz chick. We all went out there. We got into an accident on the way out, a little fender bender, but we got there. And Oltmanns goes back and he pops the fucking trunk and he grabs this fucking 24 pack of Coors Light. And here we go. And I remember being so drunk. I heard some acoustic guitar going on and I go, and I stumble over there and dude's jamming. And I'm like, oh, you know this song. And I fucking detuned his guitar and just fucked it up. Just taking it on myself. All of a sudden started jamming fucking Kiowas from Sepultura. And I'm just, you know how you get that drunken
yeah.
You know, and then you'd walk up to somebody's tent and, hey, man, what's going on? Fucking Slayer, you want a beer? Yeah.
Yeah. We're doing beer bongs.
Oh, yeah, dude. I was so fucking plowed that the next day we went to the actual show. And by the time Ozzy got up there, I'm like, fuck Ozzy, I'm out of here. I was trashed. I was still trashed from the night before, but I had fucking heat exhaustion.
Yeah.
Or whatever the hell.
Dehydration.
Oh, dude, I was gone.
Yeah.
And then I got back to the campground.
You're delirious and shit.
I woke up to that fucking that lightning strike that killed that guy in the campground. Remember that one that somebody got killed?
What year was that?
2000.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, dude got fucking pow. It woke me out of a dead sleep. Drunken sleep.
Yeah. Let me see here. What do we got?
Oh, there's been like 3,000 comments on it. I could see it out of my peripheral.
Okay, Greg says, these assholes in the music business need to start being an equal opportunity business and not just grab someone because they have 38 double Ds and can sing to a record. Shit.
That's my dad.
Yeah, you're fucking spot on that deal, by the way, too. And then Jeff's, let me see here. Matt Hamilton says, when do auditions start, Andy? Where do I sign up? I'm not sure how far back in our conversation that was.
Oh God! Are you what? Oh, you want to be in my other band? We're just gonna. Oh my God!
Yeah.
I'm
that's what he's talking about. Yeah.
Either that or else he just quit. I don't know.
Jeff says, "Screw you, Andy. My ashes will be buried with my Medi." Here lies Jeff.
You earned
He won
it.
a Medi. Pretty much, Jeff says. Matt with his chuckle face. Tom says, didn't win, but I was nominated.
He was.
Matt Hamilton says, I was never nominated that I can recall. Hats off to both of you. Let me see here. Greg says, how about everyone chip in and rent the Minneapolis Armory for 1 8-hour day, Minnesota bands, Minnesota Metal Fest. I wonder how expensive that would be. But that would be amazing.
That would be but I mean that stage isn't a permanent stage, is it?
I think so.
Do they rig it?
I think so. I don't think they just drop that and pull that up. I mean, I don't think I've seen anything other than rock shows or
Who
shows.
are you friends with? That's a bigger name.
Where?
nationally.
Well, I mean,
I'm not bragging or anything. I mean, we'd have to have somebody.
yeah, that's not that bad of an idea, actually. Power Mad?
It's okay.
That would be pretty awesome.
Well, that's
like
from your era.
I'm saying, like
I couldn't hum a song.
Well, I know a lot of fucking people that definitely could put me in touch with people that I would need to
touched.
That would be pretty fucking awesome. That's a great idea, Greg. By the way, playing live at it was much more satisfying than any of the award stuff. Oh yeah, that's what Jeff says about the Medis. You should have been hams. Well, Tom, I want to know what that means. You should have been hams. Hams meaning the beer. Hams meaning that must be.
I don't know.
Adam says it drains you. Trying to get people there, promoting drains you. And at least I know that's how I felt about it. And then no one comes. Yeah, I understand.
It's discouraging. It's really discouraging.
Here's the thing though. Again, do you want to do this? Because if you do want to do this, that is part of it. And the thing is that you have to figure out the best way to do that, right? Well, so if you look at the calendar, right now, there are a fuck ton of big bands coming in the Midwest somewhere. There's probably 3 big tours that I've seen that aren't coming to Minnesota. They're going to Milwaukee, or they're going to Madison or Milwaukee, or somewhere in Illinois.
Yep.
Now, there's going to be people from here going there because they're big enough tours that people are like, why the fuck are they skipping Minnesota?
Yeah.
Bobby didn't buy them. Somebody.
Is Bobby even?
He's still doing stuff. He's still doing stuff.
I heard he wasn't doing anything.
Well, I know Leo Presents is still doing stuff because I've seen a handful of flyers so far. I think that he's kind of in the weeds right now, waiting and grabbing things as they come, is my guess. And, a lot of people have pulled their tours back and postponed them or whatever.
I've heard even that there's, what was it? When you had Mike Bloodfist on here. Yeah, he was talking about that promoters don't, or bars don't want to have bands.
Well, because they're waiting for those tours to come through as well. That's what a lot of the thing he was saying too. Well, he just said that there were places that he had talked to that said they don't want to give. Well, here's the thing too, man. You're a band from out of state, right? These people are here to make money. They're not, unless you connect with a band who's doing well in that area, you're really shooting yourself in the foot if you don't, you know what I mean? That's why if you overshoot thinking, hey man, I'm a touring band, right? And you shoot for a larger venue than you can actually fill or give it a quarter, 10% even, you know what I mean? You get 50 people in a place that you are not known at. And I think that a lot of people kind of miss that. You know what I'm saying?
50 people at Club Underground is a big fucking night.
Right. You feel the energy of that room, though. You know what I mean? But if you found a room like that in every city in America, you'd be fucking fine, because if you got 25 people in there and they're hooting and hollering at you, at least you get the energy off of them. You know what I'm saying? Like you're still vibing from them. Hamilton should have been nominated for Medis. Shredenstein.
Fucking Matt's got a case of the Medis.
That's awesome.
Just shred those off.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Here's the thing, man. I think that a lot of people got away from that old school thing, and that's where I was kind of going with that.
The flyering and the.
Well, yeah, because it's not personal anymore. You know what I mean? You're not actually making a connection with those people, and that is important. Dude, I went to a First Avenue show and I got people to come to a Quest show. You know how I got them to come to a Quest show? I told them that I was raffling off a big wheel. And you know what?
The fuck
now, here's the thing. This is what I said. And there were 2 guys that night that came to the show and said, hey, did you guys raffle off that big wheel already? And the one guy goes, my kid would fucking love a green machine, because this is what I said. I go, not one of them shitty ones with the wheel, right? That you slammed on the brake. I go, we're fucking raffling off a green machine. I go, you remember the ones that had the 2 fucking things? And I went into this whole story, right? And I go, the first 100 people in the door get a giant back wheel, big wheel patch to go on the back of your vest. I go, I'm starting a fucking big wheel gang. That's what I said. And I went through this whole spiel, and I'm talking about walking through First Avenue, handing people flyers and going into this. I'm raffling off a big wheel. Dude, making a connection like that, I had multiple people come up to me and ask me if I raffled it off. And you know what I said? I was totally kidding. I just wanted you guys to come, and they laughed their asses off. They stayed for the show.
Yeah.
I bought them beers. They bought me beers. We fucking shook hands, and, you know, people came in to fucking enjoy the show.
Watch me knock my front teeth out.
That's
teeth
okay.
Out with the mic.
Not with that big old fluffy.
Aye. If that ain't 70 Bush, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I had a request of make sure Andy tells me how he grows that luscious beard. So you got any beard tips? I said you were gonna talk about pube grooming as well.
Oh, okay. So as far as a pube grooming goes, I don't like doing that. It hurts, man. It's pokey,
right?
You know.
Oh, when you shave it all off?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I slipped up on that one time.
That's no good, dude.
Yeah, no, it looked like buckshot. Fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Now that's all fucking weird now.
You're talking about razor bumps, right?
Oh yeah. Woo, buddy. That's what the clap feels like. Sign me up.
Oh.
No, so okay, who asked that?
Well, about the beard stuff?
Yeah.
Chad Hesseldalen.
Oh,
Yeah.
Chad still has his little like Fred Durst thing.
Yep.
All right, so the beard. Well, I'll give you the history of the beard. I had sideburns back in like, what was it? Probably eighth, ninth grade, somewhere in there. I was growing my hair out too, and then I cut it a little bit. Like it was starting to grow down past, like about right here.
Yeah.
And then I cut it for a chick, so all of a sudden I look like He-Man.
Yeah. The Prince Valiant.
Yeah, I had penis hair. So, you know, I cut it because I'm like, God, I look like an idiot, you know.
Right.
But I had sideburns, and then it turned into like the wraparound.
Yeah.
The chin strap, whatever. And then as soon as high school was done, man, I remember I went back to high school because I needed to ask the shop teacher something. And I was literally standing in line in the lunchroom talking to like Dave Simons and shit. And I had long hair and a big beard, and I was wearing a cutoff flannel. I looked like I looked like Zach Wilde.
Yeah.
Like I was going for the Zach Wilde look. And I literally had a teacher come up and go, Mr. Oltmanns, I see we're back for another year. Oh, no, I'm all done here. No. All right, come on. Go where you need to go and then get out of here.
Right.
You know. But no, I've grown a beard for a long time, and I just prefer to have it because I'm bald up top. And I use beard oil.
What kind of beard oil? What kind of stuff do you have in your beard oil?
The blood of my victims.
A good one.
I just buy some whatever shit from Walgreens.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, it's great when you knock it over, too, and spill it all into what do you got, your slippers?
Yeah.
I got my loafers at home.
Yeah.
Fucking
They smell like fucking.
I threw them out. I'm like, I can't do that. No. Foot funk and beard oil does not mix well, but I wash it and I put beard oil in it. And now I'm gonna keep growing it down to here. I don't care.
Yeah, my cousin's husband now, but when they started dating, you know, his beard was longer than mine, way longer than mine. And I asked him, you know, I said, what do you do for it? And he goes, I don't wash it all the time.
Yeah.
He said, he goes, I use oil. He said argan oil, something boba, some shit kind of oil. Vitamin E. And he had like a handful of fucking different oils that he mixed together, and he would just comb it in there. You know what I mean?
Shit.
But he made his own stuff, and he like put sandalwood and some other shit in there. But the smell of it was awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he goes, I'll beard oil my shit, and then I'll wash it, and then I won't wash it. You know what I mean? Like he said every other time I'll wash it. So like he'll just let his own body funk get up in there. You know what I mean? Yeah, the body.
This is the body. Jesse Ventura here. I gotta like contort my face when I do that.
You always got to do that because that's how it goes. You can't just you just can't do the body without getting involved in it. It's just one of those things.
What would Morgan Freeman say? I don't know. But there's Jesse, no doubt covered in poop.
Yep, that's it.
Uh-huh.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Yeah. No, you got time to duck? Fucking love that book. Predator Rules.
Yeah.
The beard stuff, man. I influenced by seeing bigger musicians with beards and shit
Yeah.
like that. Now I look like I look like Kurt from Crowbar.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, he's a big influence of mine. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
fucking branded with the shit. You know,
Yeah.
but. You know, the guy looks good for the age he is. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, you know,
Yeah.
he's got a big old fucking beard, but now
Yeah.
it's like he had just the gray stripes going. Now it's just fucking
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah,
you know?
his beard's been fucking epic forever,
it's
man.
inspiring to see what I'm gonna look like when I'm like 54.
Right. I
You
got
know?
you, dude. I got you. I know. Even like 8 years ago, I got a picture. My wife showed me a picture. I want to say 8 to 10 years ago, and I barely had any gray in my beard. And I was just like, Jesus Christ.
Goes fucking quick.
Well, she said too, you know, my wife's like, oh, let's color that thing. And I'm like, I don't want to be the guy that looks like he's trying. I have a friend on Facebook that he's probably a little younger than I am, but he's gray and pulled back way far.
Yeah.
And dude, he got all kinds of like colored his shit all in. And I just look at him and I'm going, I don't know, man. I don't want to be the guy who looks like he's trying to get the young chick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I earn these motherfuckers. Like I partied
Oh,
real hard
fuck
to get
yeah,
these
dude.
gray hairs. You know, I was a shitty human being for a
There's-
long time.
This one's Tom Croxton. This one over here is the asshole at U-Haul.
Yeah.
Let's see what these here. Oh, that's a good one right there. That would probably be like, I would say that's Matt. That big clump right there.
But it's those ones that's like half gray down here.
Yeah, just enough to throw it off, to throw the rotation of the world off. Fucking gray hair. I love getting older.
So now let me ask you with the Thrash Metal Studio stuff.
Yeah.
Now do you feel like you're headed to that point again with content creation, as far as like with your mechanic stuff?
Like getting burnt out or something. You know, and I'll even bring this up, you know, like when Jared was talking about doing this, like 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse
Sure.
and whatnot, you know, like I'm not in it to be more than what I'm doing, you know.
Right.
I'm just doing it as a hobby.
Sure.
And you know, when the hobby becomes a job, that's when I don't like doing it anymore.
Right.
You know, just like wrenching at home. When it
Yep.
becomes a career, or, you know, it's not fun.
Yeah.
You know, and music can be a double-edged sword like that too. You know, it can be fun, and there can be elements of it that make it fun, but there's still going to be that work that you got to put in, and sometimes it becomes really annoying.
Right.
So, you know, there's people like Ryan Bruce, Kevin Frazier, Steve from Boston. God, there's so many freaking YouTube, Ola England, so many YouTube personalities out there that I'm competing with, but I don't care.
Right.
You know, I like doing my live streams I do them every Wednesday at 9 p.m. They're a shameless plug. And I do it because I have a consistent following of people on there that like to go on there, and I interact with as many people as possible, because the thing that I hate the most is when you're part of a live stream and you've asked the same question 5 times throughout like a 10-minute period, and you keep getting blown off, and it pisses you off, because it's like, dude, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
You know, I'm another fan just like everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not looking to get any promotion or any of that
Sure.
shit. You know, so I try to. Okay, like I'm at what, like 5,400 or whatever, 5,600 subscribers right now. Honestly, most of that is Indonesian. Why?
Right.
Because I made 2 videos of me reviewing some guitar player over in Indonesia, and it gave me instant subscribers.
Sure.
Well, now I'm at the point where I'm going to delete them videos.
Yeah.
Because I would rather my subscriber count come back
Be
down.
organic.
Yes, and be genuine.
Yeah.
You know, and not be some bullshit thing.
Sure.
I made a decision to no longer monetize my videos.
Yeah.
I'm just detaching from that. It's not about money.
Yeah.
You know, people have given me super chats and stuff like that, and it's flattering, you know. And I say this just about my music too. I'm just a dude that plays guitar. I'm no more than that. I'm no more than anybody else.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm just one that didn't get famous.
Right.
You know, and I just do my shit.
Right.
And I do it to the best of my abilities. And if people admire that and they want an autograph or whatever, that's cool. That's flattering. That makes me feel pretty cool, you know?
Yeah.
But I still come back saying, I have a 40-hour plus work week
Right.
ahead of me. I need to go. You know?
Right. No, I get it. Dude, I mean, with the YouTube thing, like I was doing this shit back years and years ago, dude. You know what I mean? And I had this channel open, and had multiple videos on there, and I just stopped doing it because I didn't have the gear to do it. I didn't have the money to get the gear, and I was just kind of like, this is not worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When all of a sudden I started seeing people getting monetized and getting money from it, I was like, fuck, well, that's a great way to do that.
Yeah.
Well, when I went back to the channel, I had like almost 100 subscribers right away, and I was going, I have like 64 subscribers, and I haven't even done anything for at least 3 to 4 years. You know what I mean? And when I started going back, it was like I was fucking absolutely obsessed with it. I was like, I would go to YouTube. When I'd go to YouTube to watch videos anyway, for whatever, dude, it's like school for me. If there's something that I want to learn, I will sit there for hours to try to figure out how to do it. Hooking this up, hooking that up, getting everything to work. It's my favorite thing to do, is to find something that I really like and to just research it. And then dude, there's so many things that I learned on YouTube and practically and used them. You know what I mean? Like, put them to use. So I would go to my page, my account every time, and look to see if I gained another follower. You know what I mean? I gained 5 in the last
YouTube Studio. You can see all that. You can go on what the hell is it? It starts with an S. Damn it. Syphilis. I can't.
Samsonite, it was way off.
Yeah. It's an IOU. It's just as good. No, socialblade.com. You can go on there and you can see what you're at and everything like that, what your grade or whatever it is. But you talk about like looking up video on how to do this shit. I made a video showing how to hook up my computer with that 18i20 Focusrite interface. Made a video of it. I get so many thank yous on that, because it's mind-boggling once you get into the Focusrite program. How the hell do you do this?
Yeah.
You know, most of the shit I do, I stumble upon.
Yeah.
Because I'm a geek like that. I will figure it out somehow, some way, hell or high water.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's all, I mean, if you're looking to find something, you have to think about how they worded it. Because once you word it a certain way, you'll fucking find it. And once you do, you'll be like, oh, that makes sense. Or a specific tune or a specific mode in a different thing, man. And learning how to do that, holy shit, it's so important.
I don't even have to really say exactly what I'm referring to, but it's when you get them words right in the search bar and you find that video that you've been looking for a long time.
Which site are we talking about? Let me see.
Oh, Bonnie Rotten.
JJ's House of Jams.
JJ.
Rock on, everyone. I'm a local over at the Thrash Metal Studio. JJ says again, always cool to hang with on Andrew's channel. He keeps it real.
Compton.
Greg says, the dude. Good night, guys. Great show. Thanks, Greg. Thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate it very much.
Thanks, Dad. Love you.
And I actually got a really cool thing. We were talking about the tapestries that are in the room, and he said that you hand painted a Grateful Dead tapestry, and you gave it that your dad. That's the one.
Yeah, you wanted it back.
Yeah. So that's very cool, man.
Straight up jacked it.
I love it. The one behind me is a tie-dye that I did, and the one I'm wearing too is a tie-dye that I did. So I'm like all artsy fartsy, but that's how I learned how to do that shit, was on YouTube. I just fucking learned how to tie different stuff and went for it. You know what I mean?
That's cool though, man.
I think that, dude, you know, with this thing, I feel you on this whole deal, you know, like, yeah, I would like to make a couple bucks off of it just for just to pay off some of the shit that I've already invested into it. You know what I mean? Like, I watched you do a video about you getting an Elgato camera thing for your other camera. You had a GoPro camera that you wanted to use, and you needed one thing, and that was what the episode was about. You were like, hey, this is the camera, and you're like looking at this one, and then you were like, this is the one that when I have my rig down, I can switch to this camera.
I have that 920, whatever the hell that is, the Logitech 920.
Yep.
I have that up above, and then I bought that Cam Link.
Yep.
It's like $100 bullshit thing to hook the GoPro up to the computer, but now I have this. And I have this, and I can edit the screen and all that shit. I mean, that's the big thing, man. Like I said, I went from going from an iPhone, or I came from an iPhone doing iMovie and doing all the editing and putting music to it and shit, to all of a sudden I have the helm of the battleship down in the basement and all my shit. But I mean, like, I got a rack like that with my 2 interfaces. I have an ISO cab for my guitar. I got my amps behind me.
Yep.
And all my levels are set and everything. I just got to click open to get the things going and hit start.
Yeah.
And just do my lives.
Me, dude, I've been switching up so much to try to get where I feel comfortable, you know?
Yeah.
So I've run the same setup with different boards. I bought this board after my Mackie died, right? My pots on my Mackie went funky on me. I had it maybe 2 years and it shit out on me. I tried to find out how to replace it. I looked it up on YouTube. I called manufacturers. The guy said, I know a dude in Chicago that will work on it. I called him. He goes, dude, by the time you send it to me, fix it and send it back, you might as well just bought a brand new one. So I bought this Yamaha, right? Love the sound of it. I didn't even buy an interface. I've never used an interface with this podcast ever.
Yep.
I just bought a small fucking USB. I don't even know where I have it. Just a USB thing. It's like a sound card in a little USB thing that I plug in and out.
Yeah.
And basically run a board into that. Well, within the last couple podcasts, I realized that running something from this into this has a horrible buzz in it. It's just a brrrr. And what's weird about it is that if you let this run for a little while and then play a song, it will go away. And then eventually when you're talking, it'll just go
Slowly
and it'll come back on. So I'm like, how can I eliminate this? I had this board over here, which is a fantastic little Zoom board, but there was stuff with these buttons that I really want. I wanted to be able to program things. If I wanted to play some tunes, I wanted to be able to do it that way. But I have this iPad too that I run Bluetooth into this thing. I don't have to have a cord to this thing. So I was like, this is an interface, so I might as well plug this into here. And then I'm like, okay, well, how the fuck do I hear my computer? Well, it's got a USB thing, and I just turned that on. I was like, I just cut everything in half, and I don't have any buzz. I'm like, this is fucking amazing.
That's awesome.
But you know, that's an episode itself. I could sit here and tell somebody that shit.
But that's the thing, is that it would help somebody.
Yeah.
And that's why I like YouTube. I mean, YouTube is, and this is diving into a whole subject here, but YouTube to me has become what Spotify, iTunes, or Apple Music, Google Play, all that shit has come into.
Yeah.
Everybody wants money now.
Right.
Everybody wants to put ads on shit, because I remember when MySpace didn't have any of that shit. It was simply just a platform to go on to, and you could just do your thing. You know, and then all of a sudden the ads started popping up. Well, then Facebook was just a thing for college kids. All of a sudden, because people started going to that.
Yeah, my cousin went to when she was going to Stout, and she said that was like their main
Stout.
Their main their main thing was Facebook. You know what I mean? Is all the college kids do it.
And it was cool and everything. And like, now kids are going, it'd be really cool if they had a music player on Facebook. You dumbasses. We had it on MySpace long before you were even born.
Right.
But I mean, that's the hard thing, is that, everything's got an ad on it now. But I mean, YouTube still has benefits to it, but it also does kind of hit industries hard, because look at the automotive aspect of it. There's automotive shops that are putting videos up. They don't realize they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Right.
They're putting videos together on how to replace
that
this.
fucking easy. I'm just going to do it at home.
Exactly. So there's, even though there's positives to it, there's more negatives to it.
Sure.
But people don't realize that.
Yeah.
They're just looking at the instant gratification right here that they can look up on here. Instant gratification. And that's the.
I think one of the last podcasts we did, weren't we going back and forth talking about different adult movie stars, going, hey, have you just?
Oh fuck yeah! Oh wait, what's the one that goes? Fuck.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of who it is though.
That would be Jenna Hayes.
Is it?
Fuck. Hi, Mom. That's what's hard about having the family on here,
Right. Matt and Tom both said Stout.
That's a working title for one of our new songs.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I wish that we could take the Christina Aguilera approach and go back to basics, and really get back to what the roots of everything is, and just say fuck you to the social media, and retain some of that. I mean, dude, I wish Hex could be signed to a major label.
Sure.
This band deserves it. I think we've all equally earned it. I think we have great material.
Right.
Are we the best band in the world? No. Do we all think that our band is the best band? Fuck yeah. It's just what we do in our practice space to jerk each other off. It's like, yeah, we're the awesomest, the most bestest. But, I think that everyone even in the scene, veterans, I think we all deserve that recognition, but now it's so hard to obtain it.
I think Minnesota's been looked over so much.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They're okay. So in October of last year, I went to Colorado, and we had friends out there that actually threw us a show. You know, like the NYDM guys that I went with.
Yeah.
NYDM guys out there threw a show. There was they said it was a punk band, kind of a thrashy death metal band, is what they said. Wasn't death metal, it was all thrash, and then a black metal band, which was black metal, but I expected a lot from it. You know what I mean? It was kind of like the North Star Bar. You know what I mean? No real PA, but just kind of a spot where they threw some shit on and some speakers and your
love that.
Your ambient sound, you know, of your cabs and whatnot, which can sound really fucking good actually if you do it right. You know what I'm saying? And
that's why we need a full stack out of you, Matt Hamilton.
But the caliber, and I'm not saying, you know, all right, I am saying it. The caliber of bands that I saw there was incredibly disappointing. And I didn't name any of the band's names, but compared to what I'm used to here, even in the venue wise, you know what I mean? North Star Bar makes that place that I went to, which is a brewery, a nice brewery there, look like, you know what I mean? Like it's just a dump. You know what I'm saying? Like Club Underground, I would say Terminal Bar would be a better place to play than the place that I saw the show at. And the caliber of bands, they were maybe minus C caliber bands in my opinion. Some of our worst bands would blow those bands off the stage. And here's the thing is, like, we always get looked over. We're known for what? Husker Du, Soul Asylum, Prince, Head Charge, which is a shine towards us heavy guys that have been here for a long time. Yeah. But there are so many talented musicians in this fucking area that it just blows me away from every across the spectrum of music. You know what I mean? Stoner rock, fucking. You got Red Desert. You got fucking.
Oh, dude, fucking Sean from Red Desert. I remember meeting Sean for the first time back in 2004. Yeah. I heard some band playing some sort of corrosion of conformity shit. Like you were jamming when I come in here. I'm like, fucking right. Yeah. But no, I remember hearing them at My Apple, and I had just joined up with Cold Colors, and I went downstairs and I knocked on the door. I waited, and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? And here comes Sean with his long brown hair and his fucking sideburns, you know. And, hey, man, how you doing? You know, we started talking, and I checked it out and everything. And, you know, I haven't talked to him in quite a while, but dude's still fucking doing it, you know? Amazing, too.
Exactly. They're such a great band.
Absolutely.
There's so many good bands in this town, and it just bums me out. There are a lot of, I honestly think that if there were still, like I said, the record labels that were willing to take bands that are in the rough right now, put them in a studio, put a little bit of money behind them, set them on the tracks virtually, and let them ride. You know what I mean? Because it really was the promotion train of all of that. You know what I mean? Your record label took care of your distribution. They got you in every magazine. If they believed in you, they would push you. They would put you on different tours, and you would be blocked up with a Machine Head or you know what I mean. These bands that are fucking solid, but they just don't do that shit anymore, man. And it's so sad.
What, Metal Edge is coming back? Yeah, I got money saying it's going to be all digital.
Yeah,
you know, and there's no fucking fun in that, man. I remember having I had my Traveler, they used to call it back in high school, you know, where you could write down, it was like a calendar book and shit. I remember having a picture of Mikey Dooling from Snot. Yeah. His fucking mohawk. He had this gold top Les Paul. I had a picture of that. I'm like, that dude's fucking cool. Yeah. You know, I think I had some other, I remember I had the lyrics to So Fucking What written on the inside of it too, you know. But, you know, the days of like having idols, you know, and having the physical copies of shit.
My entire room was covered with all of those Metal Maniacs magazines.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Clipped in little fucking, I mean, I remember having a Deicide review that was like this big in one strip, and then like when they got bigger, then you start getting pictures, and then it'd be fucking Glenn Benton and fucking Obituary, and you know what I mean, Crowbar and fucking Acid Bath, and you know what I mean, Down and Pantera and Slayer and like all these old thrash bands, Flotsam and Jetsam and you know what I mean, Exodus and all these fucking, and I tore out every page, Motley Crue. I mean, I put it all up on the fucking wall. You can't do that anymore, man. You know what I mean? It's hard enough to find big posters of the shit.
Remember the Giant brand of posters?
Yeah.
I found Symphony of Destruction with the dude like that hovering in the fucking room. I got that one. Tom hooked me up with an original Machine Head one from I believe it was Burn My Eyes.
Yeah.
Or no, the More Things Change. I can't remember right now.
They stay the same. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, like I've been buying a bunch.
It's got
of
the
new
hands
olds.
or something. They're like fucking all dried up or something.
No. Okay, this would be from the not Burning Red. This is from Burn My Eyes to.
Is that
More
the
Things
dude where he's
Change.
going like that?
No,
where
it's the band.
Okay,
It's a band
okay.
shop, but Rob still has long hair because I know he shaved his head for the More Things Change. But that's another subject I'd love to talk about. But yeah, man, I mean, like, you know, I did up my basement to where it has all these posters around me in frames.
Yeah.
And I did that because I wanted, you know, some people talk shit and say I don't have a studio, which that's fine. I'm not a professional studio.
Yeah.
So whatever. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Did you record your own album?
That's what
Or
I
your
thought.
band's own album? Thank you. Hold my beer.
Yeah.
No.
Sit down,
I
Waldo.
you know, I say that jokingly, you know, but I mean, there's people that give me shit about it, you know, calling it's a studio and whatnot. But, you know, it's my home studio, and I have these posters around as inspiration because, you know, like I was getting all excited about Machine Head. When I walked into the Metrodome in '97, walked down them stairs, some band was over here. I think it might have been Drain STH or somebody like that. But then all of a sudden, I look forward and I see that fucking main stage, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. All of a sudden, I hear the beginning of that fucking bow, bam, dun, 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 dun. And I went, what the? Yeah. Down. And I remember I fucking sprinted down them stairs. I hit the floor running, and I took off to that pit.
Yeah.
And then some dude next to me's like, "You want to go up? Fuck yeah, man!" And I hadn't been to a show like that ever.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the hell to take in. I'd seen the Who,
Yeah.
and Pink Floyd.
Right.
So either I was stoned, or I wanted to not be
Yeah.
there. You know.
Yeah.
And so seeing a big venue show like this, and that was a big time. Fear
Yeah.
Factory, Cold Chamber, Drain STH, Machine Head, Typo Negative, fucking. God, Power Man 5000. I mean, there were so many bands that were on that bill that it was all new at that time. I mean, I know that, you know, there was albums before that,
Sure,
you know,
sure.
Violence and so on,
Yep.
you know. But for me being a young musician and hearing that shit going, whoa, I mean, I fucking crowd surfed. I remember falling and like jacking my arm up or something, but got back up, ran around, you know, combat pant, or, you know,
Yeah.
fucking army,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Oh,
shorts,
yeah.
you know, metal shirts and shit. I missed that time. I really, really, really missed that time, and I wish that it was still happening, because I don't know if it really does anymore, because I don't go to big shows.
Yeah.
And there hasn't really been any that's been, oh yeah, I gotta go, because
Yeah.
all my favorite bands are getting to that point where they're either, you know, retiring or they're dying. And
Yeah.
that's get more of that poop in there.
There you go.
But that's one thing that I actually came to realization, is that people around our age, you know, I'd say give or take 10 years, we are now witnessing our inspirations get older
Yeah.
and die.
Yep.
You know,
Mhm.
I mean, there's no, you know, like, there was the big band era. There was the 50s,
Sure.
60s, 70s, and so on. But I mean, like, you know, I'm inspired by all of that. 50s up till I would say now. You know, there are some
Oh, yeah.
bands that I get into, but I don't check out a lot. But, you know, all those musicians, they're all going now.
Yeah.
You know, and it sucks, because I don't have much faith in the future with certain things, whether it be the industry or
Right.
where we can go musically. Because, dude, I mean,
Well,
how
I mean,
many times has a riff been played?
Celestial music in general. You know what I mean? Like the radio. You know, it's become a playlist.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And a playlist of garbage. You know, there's been maybe a handful of bands in 10 to 15 years that I've heard,
Yeah.
and it piqued my interest enough to go and find an album and actually enjoy the rest of the album instead of the song that's on the radio. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Maybe a handful.
People, you know, I kind of get a mixed reaction out of this one, but when I had heard the name and didn't think much of it, and then I heard a song, Greta Van Fleet,
Yeah.
and I know Zeppelin's like, yeah, they say they were inspired by Aerosmith. you know.
Yeah.
But you know what? I put that first album on, and it's literally like listening to Led Zeppelin 4,
Yeah.
and I love every bit of it
Sure.
because it's Zeppelin was a straightforward, honest rock and roll band.
Right.
You know, people say they kind of dabble in the heaviness, but dude, Deep Purple and Sabbath own that fucking and Mountain.
Well, if you think about it, though, that's and this is just me, like, recently going back to the blues, you know, and then you think about everybody that was inspired by this group of blues or Delta blues that was taken from America, right?
Yep.
And it makes its way across the seas, you know, overseas, and you know the Beatles, Zeppelin, the Stones, the Animals, Yardbirds, Clapton and Cream. I mean, you know, all of the big bands that you can think of, okay?
Yep.
Took that shit and switched it, pulled pieces out of it. All of the, you know, Muddy
Made it their
Waters,
own.
John Lee Hooker, B.B. King, fucking Robert Johnson is a huge thing. Something that they took from all, fucking Howlin' Wolf, like all of these little snippets from these blues guys,
Yep.
and sped them up. Chuck Berry's another one where they're,
Oh yeah, totally.
where they're, you know, Little Richard. There's a fucking ton of them where you hear that they're influenced by all of this music. And when I listen to Led Zeppelin, now that I know the origins of what Page was doing at the time with the Yardbirds and with Jeff Beck, and
Fucking,
you know,
oh, I'm glad you said Jeff Beck.
now
He's-
if you think about all of that shit and you listen to Zeppelin as a whole,
Yeah.
you're like, you hear all of that blues and you appreciate like what you said earlier about taking stuff that you've heard since you were a kid, that was stuff that your dad listened to when he was a kid,
Yep.
into the 60s and the 70s of really the golden era of rock and roll. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Into the 80s, where we're getting into hair bands at that particular time. Now it wasn't, but it wasn't like my main thing, but it was a stepping stone
was
into the
something new.
next heavier thing.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But if I look at my musical thing, I look back at all of that stuff, say, like, in my mind, sliding it into a bookshelf of my memories. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
I remember taking the Beatles' White Album and listening to it and just going, holy shit, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Listening to the first Kiss album that I ever heard, Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. I mean, literally sitting with headphones and listening to these songs and looking at the record sleeves and following along with the lyrics, you know, seeing Alice Cooper and seeing fucking, you know, all these old rock bands, man. Hendrix was a huge thing for me too. But looking at them and going, oh shit, this pushed me into this death metal thing. This thing pushed me into this thrash metal thing. This thing pushed me into this direction that I went. And then taking it and bending it and twisting it to your will and doing what you do with it. You know what I mean? Like, I have so much respect for anybody who can take the time to learn a fucking instrument, can learn how to write a song, who can learn how to write lyrics in any way, shape, or form. Because like you said, I'm not a fucking poet, but that's how I started writing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, kill, will, you know, still,
Oh, yeah,
you know, I mean, that type of shit. But it's like, you move from that, you learn from like the people that you idolize. All of a sudden you realize that they're phrasing something completely out of the norm of, you know, and not necessarily going verse, chorus, verse, or verse, bridge, you know, chorus, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, breaking the molds of those things to me was the most fascinating part about the journey of all of it. You know what I mean? Like, looking back at the blues, looking back at where those bands that, you know, Led Zeppelins and shit like that, and going, holy fuck.
Dude, I remember, and I don't know, I think my dad might not be on here anymore,
Yeah.
but I remember driving back from my grandpa Fritz's out in Stillwater down off 36. The house is long gone now, but I remember we were driving back and it was like probably 11 o'clock at night. He had the cassette of Machine Head from Deep Purple.
Yeah.
And he put that in. And all of a sudden I heard that and I remember looking up and seeing the stars and just all that. It always seems to be whenever I was coming home from Grandpa Fritz's, because Injustice for All.
Yeah.
I had a Iowa cassette player that only had play, fast forward, and stop,
Yeah.
and eject, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember playing that fucking cassette until I broke it. But Deep Purple Machine Head is a very influential album to me because I find that heavier than most heavy bands now. Because you put a Hammond organ with a fucking Marshall stack behind it, And
Sounds heavy, dude.
That Danny Glover's bass, the driving, like Smoke on the Water. Do, 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 do.
Right.
Nothing punches you harder than a driving bass.
Right.
You know, Blackmore did his thing. He filled in, and so did John Lord.
Yeah.
You know, but then you had Ian Pace on the drums and just Ian Gillan on vocals, and just holy shit.
Dude, have you ever sat down with Gene Vogel?
No.
You should sit down with Gene Vogel. He's a huge Deep Purple fan.
Oh man. Well, see, that's the thing though, is that who was Glenn Hughes. He has something communion, like I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's with Joe Bonamassa.
Yeah.
And they did cover a couple tunes that he was part of with Deep Purple, and they covered Burn.
Yeah.
That 70-year-old can do. Wow, he can still do it. I'm like, oh my God, dude, you're giving youngsters a run.
Dude, I seen Bonamassa do a song with fucking God damn it. Now I'm thinking, who's the singer of Bad Company? I'm fucking completely blowing my mind right now. He's the singer for Free as well.
Take it away. Oh, right now. Damn it, who is that?
I can't think of it. I can't think of it. I can't think of it. Tom, who's the singer for Bad Company? I cannot think of his name.
I know the name, but I can't think of it.
Where's my phone at? I know it. I know who it is, and I can't think of it.
Who are you?
Who are you? Who?
Oh, dude, you know that it's an eminent front. It's an eminent front. It's put on. I always thought it was do it in the butt. Do it in the butt. It's
Paul
Rogers.
On. Paul Rogers.
Paul Rogers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know how I could forget Paul Rogers, but I saw him, old guy, right, singing some fucking some old Free songs with Bonamassa. Dude, it was unbelievable.
I've never seen Bonamassa live.
I can imagine that guy being absolutely amazing because I've
only
seen him
44.
on. Really?
Yeah, dude. I thought he was in his 50s.
Yeah.
You know, I just because you look at musicians that are signed and they're out on tour, you always think of them as being this older echelon.
Well, his playing too, though. When you hear him playing, I thought he was older than that 44. That's for sure. But dude, I started getting into Free just out of nowhere. My buddy Gooch posted a Free song, and I was just like, why have I not heard this fucking band more, man? And I went from their first album, when I think it was A Whole Lot of Sobs or something like that, and then I don't even know the lineup of the albums, but the first like 3 albums are absolutely amazing, and that's all pre Bad Company, you know. And his voice is very bluesy sounding in that shit. It's very, dude. That bass, dude, the bassist is all over. Andy, God damn it, I can't think of his name either, but all over the fucking place, man. So tasty, that guitar player. If you haven't listened to Free, you have to go back and listen to some Free because they're fucking amazing.
Have you ever heard the song? I know you're going to be like, yeah, but you got to hear the band. Angel of Death from Thin Lizzy.
I haven't heard that from them. No.
Are you? Would you get flagged if you played it on here?
Probably. Yes.
Sons of bitches.
Yeah.
That F you then. No, Tom got me into that. You know, like I knew Boys Are Back in Town and all that shit. I had that album and a couple other tunes and whatnot. But when I heard that one, the coolest thing is that because the lead singer, oh God, what is
Phil Lynott?
Phil. Because he grew up, you know, in that era, you know, plus or minus 20 years from World War II.
Yeah.
He was around the Depression.
Right.
He was around World War II. He was around all that Nazi shit.
Yep.
So he sings about it in there, and it's like, holy shit! You know, I saw Hitler's stormtroopers.
Yeah.
You know, just talking about it and shit, and it's such a heavy song.
Yeah.
So heavy. I'm gonna get Tom on it.
Imagine, you know, him being who he is too. You know, being mixed in Ireland at that particular time as a kid. That would have been fucking crazy, man. That dude's seen some shit, I bet.
Yeah, I think it's so cool to hear lyrics in that form. You know, most people probably didn't think much of it, but then when you really listen to it and you go, holy shit, yeah, this is like a history book.
Right.
You know, and it's so just.
A lot of their tunes were like very epic story type shits, man. Yeah. Even Boys Are Back in Town is still. It's got a great story to it. You know what I'm saying?
You know, and this even goes to
the cowboy song.
Oh, dude,
that's one of my favorites, dude.
I am just a cowboy.
Yep.
Yep. That's fucking kick ass. You know, when Eddie Van Halen passed away, I really kind of reflected on it. Like when I heard it happen, I was on that verge of tears. I was at work and I didn't want anybody to fucking see it, you know?
Right.
And I got home and I was I told my wife, and you know,
I was like that with Prince.
Really?
Yeah.
I told my wife. Yeah, I remember sitting in my Pertec van when I heard Prince died, and they were playing back-to-back Prince songs on Jack.
Yeah.
But or one of the stations. But when I heard Eddie died, I held it in at work. I got home, I told my wife, and then I went downstairs, and I'm kind of just sitting there. And I went online and on YouTube, and I saw that Steve from Boston was on there, and Steve's in his late 50s.
Yeah.
So this dude grew up in the era of Eddie Van Halen, going, "What the fuck?" And then Steve ended up going to Berkeley and all that, but he just started sobbing when he started talking about it, and instantly I lost it. And I really thought about how much did Eddie influence my playing indirectly, and people wouldn't even notice it in my playing, but I notice it.
Yeah.
Or even like you said, Jeff Beck, and I kind of perked up.
Sure.
I'm a huge Jeff Beck fan.
Yeah.
One of the originators of his style. There's nobody like him. Same with Stevie Ray Vaughan, same thing, man.
Dude, that dude was otherworldly.
You know, I mean, that's actually a cool thing too. There's a young kid that's on Instagram that his
Just
mom,
saw him, little chubby European kid.
his mom does the page for him, so he isn't on there. So he's
dude,
not
he
seeing
wears
him
his
shit.
fucking hats and
I
everything.
love it. I
The
love
kid
it.
can play, dude. He can fucking play.
Yeah, he's not, he hasn't even been playing that long.
Yeah.
You
I saw one of the early videos. I stumbled on it, dude, like 3 or 4 days ago.
Yeah, he is literally going like that.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see that there's still young kids that are getting into playing as heavy as they are and being influenced by somebody that died, fucking 20 years before they were even born?
Yeah.
You know, so with the whole Eddie Van Halen thing and shit, you know, it's how much musicians that we grew up listening to have influenced us, and we may not realize it until it's too late.
Yeah.
And you know, that was pretty heavy for me. You know, and that's the one thing I actually fear that with like Hetfield and shit, because Hetfield, Kirk from Crowbar, you know, I mean, when Vinny died, I'm in the garage listening to Floods, and my wife walks in and I fucking start sobbing.
Yeah.
I didn't get emotional with Dimebag, even though I was a huge fan of him. I didn't really know how to understand
Right.
it. Because I got the call.
I remember the first time I ever met that dude. I remember fucking vividly how I met him, and he was such a cool cat, man. And I hung out with him after that too, you know what I mean? But it was such a trip because I just Damage Plan, or you know what I mean, that was the band that he played in right after that Damage Plan. It wasn't something that I got into. I just kind of wasn't. It wasn't my thing for some odd reason. I didn't really care for it. It wasn't Pantera anymore. You know what I mean? And though I love the Abbott brothers, they're fucking amazing no matter what they did. You know, because the stuff that I'd heard from Damage Plan, there was some cool shit in there. I'm not gonna lie, but it wasn't something that I was like, I gotta go see them live. I gotta go. I did see them live, but I'm not like, I didn't pay to get in.
Yeah.
I was working the show. I didn't go buy their albums after that or download their albums. So, you know, it really didn't hit me like that. But when he passed, I totally, I mean, like I said, with Prince, I was at a fucking metal show in Milwaukee. And
I think
all of a
remember
sudden,
you posted something.
I was bummed, man. I was like, holy shit. I worked at Paisley for a couple weeks. You know what I mean? It's like, I got to experience some of that shit. I never got a chance to meet him. My mom fucking met him before. You know what I mean? It's just, I get you, man. I totally get you. I never sang R&B or blues or anything, but I fucking grew up with it.
Prince.
I appreciate it.
My mom and her brothers actually went to school with Prince.
Yeah.
And, you know, she remembers him walking through, being the short little shit that he was and all that, you know. And it wasn't anything. He was a musician, you know. He picked up all these instruments and shit, you know, and then all of a sudden he took off, you know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even Prince, you know, I remember there being a video on YouTube, it's still probably up there too, where somebody's filming the band on stage, just rehearsing in the middle of this big stadium.
Yeah.
Or big, whatever, like an XL Energy kind of thing. And they're up there playing this cool jazz tune. Here comes little Prince in his yellow jacket. He comes over, walks through the venue on the floor, goes up on stage, grabs his Telecaster, rips a fucking shredding solo for about a minute, sets it down, and walks away.
Yeah.
But every musician was so good in that band that they all knew. And that's
He
I love
handpicked it like that, though, too. You know what I mean? That's a dude that handpicked all those people like that from the very beginning. That's what he was doing, was handpicking, because he did all of that himself. Those people just played his shit. I can't imagine there being very many songs out there that he was like, okay, I really like your idea. You know what I mean?
fun.
I'm sure that he was like, they may have came up with those ideas together, but dude, that's a guy who was right. Those first couple albums were all him. You know what I mean? He played every single bit of it, man.
Yep.
Dude, being in them studios and being around that, it was insane, man. Seeing the trophy cabinet that he didn't care a fuck about. He didn't give a shit about any of that. But Grammy, I mean, any award that, as a musician, if you were being a pop musician in any way, shape, or form, every award was in that cabinet. And I was just like, you know, back when I worked there, the walls were from when he was in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and all the way up. And it was like pictures from like his early albums. Dude, he had framed things of fans that put all of his lyrics on things. And I mean, dude, there was so much shit in there that I was just like, oh my God, the fucking cars from, you know, Purple Rain and fucking Under the Cherry Moon and the motorcycles and the things from Alphabet Street. And dude, just, I carried the fucking, the drum set that Adam Rivkitt's dad played in fucking, in the Mountains video from the outside circle fucking building he had into the building, down into this catacomb, into this fucking, this vault, dude, dude, there was a keytar on the wall that I saw him play on fucking American Bandstand when I was a kid, dude. And I'm standing there and I'm looking at it going, holy shit, holy shit, you know? And I remember him fucking hitting that shit and dancing around and doing his thing and like doing these weird kicks and shit and being all like weird, like, with Dick Clark and shit. It was just crazy to just stand there and go, holy fuck, man. Yep. That's just very cool shit. Very cool shit.
It's you know, you don't realize how much these people, you know, I've said it over and over again here, but you know, the influence they have on you and how much you know, it's the Neil Peart.
Yeah.
Neil Peart thing where he didn't like the fame. He didn't like the false friendship that people were trying to put on him. Yeah. Where he felt obligated to have to be like, oh yeah, thanks a lot, blah 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 blah. You know.
Dude, you know what I loved about the documentary that's on Netflix? Do you see that? Where he basically like said he would rather read and be alone than be around all the people. You know what I mean? Like writing all the lyrics for the Rush tunes and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude is an insane drummer. You know. When he's talking about Tom Sawyer, and he's like, to this day, I still have problems playing that song. He's like, because it is so precise with what you hit when you hit it, and you know they're showing him playing the shit, you know, and he's like explaining, this is the parts where I have transition problems even to this day, and you're thinking, holy shit. And they go back to all that early shit, man, and they were so technical back then too, you know. That's a band that really, I don't think gets enough recognition. I mean, they do, obviously they've got a ton of accolades, but they're a fucking great band, man. Yep. Rush is fantastic.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like my dad got me into Rush, Jeff Beck, Zeppelin, Sabbath, Deep Purple, Mountain's a big one. That was it Nantucket's.
Weren't they all like really big dudes too?
Oh, dude, I remember. First Nantucket something. It's like a bow, and it's fucking heavy. Never in my life. Oh God, what?
I'm laughing because I know exactly what you're saying, and the feeling that you hear it just pounding in. Somebody was just talking about this band the other day, and they were talking that their dad got them into the band Mountain, and the reason they came up with the name Mountain is because each one of them dudes were giant.
See, I don't remember the bass. I don't remember the bass player. Yeah, the guy with the fro in the middle. Yeah. There's a really cool video out there that somebody put together with some Vietnam. Well, Vietnam's not cool, but the footage is kind of cool to put with it. And it was them doing a lead-in to Mississippi Queen. Yeah. And it was just a simple down. Down, and the bass player's doing fucking power chords on the bass and shit. And Leslie goes up there and he's doing like a you know, and just getting the crowd wound up, and all of a sudden, and the fucking heaviness
Yeah.
of that song is so heavy, you know. And I think I write heavy songs and whatnot for what we do in Hex, but dude, there's just something about heavy blues, heavy hard rock blues music that gets me going.
Dude, that's Black Sabbath all day long, dude. Fucking
Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath with the fucking the dude on the bed and the family's around, and then on the back he's got the fucking demons.
Yeah.
Like that. And that was what I was gonna say too, is that there's so many things I want to say, but I get so excited about this that, you know, my neighbor hooked me up with a record player.
Yeah.
Like one that you would get at Montgomery Ward's back in the 80s.
Sure.
And it was in mint condition. The needle was still good. It still had the original box. So sweet. So I built me a cool setup in the basement. I have a cabinet, and I got, you know, a receiver. I got my turntable on the top, my receiver, however many multi-band graphic EQ, and then a CD player. And
old
shit.
school too.
Absolutely, man. I love that. My dad got me into it because my dad built his own cabinets back in the 70s.
Yeah.
You know, he used to say, like, him and JC and Kevin would get together and jam and shit and just fucking, you know.
Yeah.
But
that's awesome.
yeah, man, I know all these stories and shit, but you know, for having that record player granted me that ability now to go out and buy the shit that I want. You know, albums that influenced me.
Yeah.
Slayer, Divine Intervention.
Yeah.
That was the one that was the gateway for me.
Yeah.
I still need to get more of an Angel Domination. I gotta find that. But you know, Crowbar albums, Black Sabbath. I have all the Blacks.
Do you go the Blaine cheapo over there?
Yeah.
They got a great metal selection.
Fucking right. And I try to find used stuff, you know, but I mean, most of it is brand new. But I mean, like all my old Van Halen stuff, all the Van Halen is all old original LPs.
Yep.
I
got a couple of those myself.
Yeah, I had to.
You have to, dude. Those are classic albums. There's no fucking dude. I couldn't even imagine being Gene Simmons when you discover something like that. You're just sitting back there and they're playing the shit that they were doing. And, oh God, dude. Michael Anthony and fucking David Lee Roth harmonizing together in that shit, dude. Oh.
Yeah. Listening, like, now we're going into Van Halen. Oh, boy. So,
hey, your dad is back. He said Leslie West, Felix Paparotti is what he was saying there. Neil Elwood Peart, for me, R.I.P.
Tom.
Yeah, Tom, for sure. And then, dude, you seriously have these fucking Russian bots, dude.
I know.
I'm not even lying to you, dude. There's got to be 30 Russian bots in this thing. 1, 2, 3.
It's bullshit, man.
4, 5.
Like, that's seriously what they probably
6,
do for a
7.
living.
Oh, that's my buddy asking what the fuck that is.
Oh.
7. Yeah, that's insane, dude.
No, Van Halen. I remember my mom, remember pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you had pay-per-view, and then you had, what was the Spice Channel? Oh, there's a boob.
Yep.
I think I heard a moan.
Yeah, where you're flipping back and forth, and it's...
Yeah, you can kind of, like, all of a sudden...
Beaver shot!
Whoa!
Yep. Yeah, you put that in the spank bank right away. Like, I saw half a beaver last night in between Spectrum and the HBO channel and shit.
Spectrum Vision. No, but my mom had gotten me the pay-per-view of Van Halen playing in, I think it was Vancouver.
Yeah.
And it was so cool, man. That was like, even though I heard some of the stuff, I didn't really know about Van Halen.
Yeah.
So watching Eddie up there with his short spiked haircut and shit, and Sammy and all that, and just hearing from Michael Anthony.
Yeah.
That's why I play the bass that I play, because him, Ian Gillan, Geezer Butler, just all that shit. Oh, there's another one too, man. So we'll get to that. Got a lot of things to get to, and we've been on here for fucking 2 hours, 3 hours.
2 hours, yeah.
Sorry. But, no.
2.5, actually.
Seeing that video was so cool, or that whole show and everything, and I still have it on VHS, along with all my Metallica bootlegs and shit. But just such an influential band. I mean, watching Eddie up there with his kid, even though Michael's not part of it at the end, just Eddie played innocently. He just played whatever. And he was kind of a one-trick pony, because he stayed within that box of the chords that he wrote in, But the guy was phenomenal.
Yes, so did Angus Young.
And Zakk Wylde.
His entire fucking career, Angus Young. You know what I mean?
Yep.
How many chords of that? How many honest chords did he play in every album? But every album has so many classic fucking tunes on it. It's unbelievable how AC/DC went from You know, I mean, I love the Bon Scott era AC/DC. I honestly, Back in Black is a great album, but I don't care for Brian Johnson's vocals as much as I do Bon Scott.
Yeah.
I do love AC/DC to that, you know, beyond that point, but it just didn't grab me the way Bon Scott did. It had more blues feel to it. It had more rock and blues feel to it.
It became more commercial.
It had lots of
What it
soul
felt
to it. Like it lost the soul when Bon Scott passed away. I felt like once they grabbed now Brian Johnson, from what he was doing, if you go back and research some of that shit, dude has a great fucking voice, dude. He had a great singing voice, dude. Before his AC/DC shit, I heard like 2 or 3 songs with his original band, really, really solid fucking rock. But it was like kind of psychedelic shit. You know what I mean? It was kind of weird, but you know, just the longevity of AC/DC. A lot of people will say, I don't fucking like them guys. You know, they're whatever. But
It's there's the critics out there that bust their balls over playing the same chords, but you know what? They're famous and you're not.
Yeah, that's
so,
true.
Sorry.
Yep.
How else do you want me to say it? I mean, that's the thing. They may have played the same chords, but you know what? Green Day wrote "When I Come Around."
Yeah.
Closing time.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, there's so many bands that have written the same song with the same chords. You know, AC/DC capitalized on those chords, and you know what? I haven't heard anybody write a song better than Riff Raff.
Right.
I mean, between that, it's fucking ripping. And then Angus comes in with that solo in between the first and second verse.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, AC/DC was one of them bands that, dude, Australian cats coming up to the United States playing this shit. Holy shit, you know? And then, you know, Sabbath. I got all excited about Sabbath. Killing Yourself to Live.
Dude, that band all the way through, man, is just unbelievable. The saddest thing for me when it comes to Sabbath is the fact that they got back together and toured without Bill.
So wrong.
That fucking killed me.
Yep.
I was like, you know, this is where the money just absolves and dissolves everything. You know what I mean? Like you can't. The person that you made this beautiful fucking catalog of music, you're just going to cut this guy out because you don't want to share what you guys built together and then not give him the royalties off it the way he should have been. I don't know, that frustrates me, but unstoppable band. And I honestly feel like without bands like Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, you know, there's a lot of bands, but there would be no real heavy shit.
Nope.
You know
there
what I mean?
wouldn't.
It's like all the heavy kids or all the heavy cats back then wanting to go faster and heavier, and you know what I mean, like speeding it up. That's all it was doing, was just supercharging it just a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yep. Well, and that's when you look at what all the, you know, like when you go see that, or when you Tom, Matt, and I went and saw that movie, that thrash metal movie. What the hell is it called?
Murder in the Front Row or some shit like that.
Yeah, we went and saw that, and that was so cool, man. And I've talked with Gary Holt a couple times, and shit, and just, you know, it's really cool to see what happened in the late 70s, early 80s, because I mean, these guys were all our age when we started getting into the shit. Yeah, you know, and so, you know, they've already done it, and now they're seeing, you know, us get into it and whatnot, and just the innocence of it. I mean, you know, little Hetfield up there with his blonde curly hair and shit, you know, spandex, and hey, what's going on? You know, he sounds like a chipmunk, but I mean, you know, just the way it took off for everybody. You know, it was a whole new style of music that nobody had heard before. Yeah. But Motorhead and all the bands influenced that. Yeah. You know,
fuck yeah,
it's just so cool.
Yeah.
You know, that's the one thing I really hope that music can continue, and I really hope that musical inspiration will continue on after the bands that did what they did in the 90s or in the 80s and the 90s. Right. You know, I felt like the last real holy shit was Shadows Fall, God Forbid. You know, Unearth was in there, but I didn't really listen to them all that much. But Lamb of God, I don't listen to Lamb of God anymore because I've heard the same album how many times.
Right.
You know, after Sacrament, I just fell off.
Sure.
You know, but I mean, Shadows Fall was kick-ass, but that was like the last real exciting moment for music for me.
Sure.
You know, there's been sporadic through there.
That's it. Misery Index was one of them that you mentioned. Yeah, that's a band that, for me, Dying Fetus. When I heard those guys, I was pretty blown away by those guys when I first heard them. You know, now it's surpassed. There's so much more beyond that.
Cannibal Corpse too. I mean, Cannibal Corpse has lost their too. Now they look like VFW biker guys.
Right.
You know, and it sucks because they were such a powerhouse of a band. You know, when Jack and Rob were the guitar players. You know, when Vile came out and all that shit, and then, you know, I think Jack left, and then Pat came in, and then Rob left, and then Rob came back, and it's just
you know, there's quite a few bands actually that have been popping up lately that I feel like are taking the torch and running. Like Skeletal Remains for me is a band that really has fucking blown me away. Live, I saw them. I only got to see probably 4 or 5 songs at that Slam Dakota show before I took off, but they're a band that I was just like, holy shit, this is like a throwback to the early 90s death metal shit, you know what I mean? And then that band Gatecreeper is another one of those bands where they're and seeing Carcass playing and coming back and doing some of their stuff too. Napalm Death has been dropping fucking serious albums for like the last 4 albums. Dude, have been really good.
Yeah, what is it? Time. I can't remember what the fuck it is, but yeah, dude. I got into Carcass at the tail end of their hurrah in the 90s. Yeah. And the album that got me was Wake Up and Smell the Carcass. So, you know, that had a mixture of shit on it, but it wasn't, I hadn't heard Heartwork yet or anything else before that. And I gravitate more towards that era, the Wake Up and Smell the Carcass, you know, like Buried Dreams and Heartwork and shit like that, versus the grindcore stuff. Only grindcore band that ever got me was early Pig Destroyer. 38 counts of battery, early Pig Yard. Yeah, that's good my shit. You know, Jennifer wrestled her friend playfully to the ground. That's
a good one.
Yeah, the ground in front of the snow cone stand and began licking at the girl's eyeballs with their sugar cubes. Well, let's see what else. Crowd gathered almost immediately as these 2 girls tied and untied their body like a pair of pit vipers. God, what the fuck is the other shit? It's so good. It's just fucking awesome, man. It's so just
yeah.
You know. Anyway, but Carcass. When I found out that they were putting on a new album out, Surgical Steel, and then when I got it, I went into my garage and I have a fucking sound system.
Have you heard the newest one?
I have.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking good,
dude. It's just so cool because it takes me right back to the 90s.
Yeah.
Of hearing that death metal coming out. I mean, I saw Obituary in '97 at First Ave. Yeah. And that was my introduction to seeing live shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, I had heard a little bit of death metal prior to like Cannibal Corpse and all that. Demented Ted. Yeah. If you remember them at all. That was Mike Anderson, the drummer, is my cousin.
Oh, okay.
So I heard about Demented Ted and all that, and then I saw Cannibal Corpse and all that, you know, the Ace Ventura shit.
Yeah. I saw them right around that time in the entry. It was Cannibal Corpse, Gorguts, and Atheist.
Oh, that'd been cool.
Yeah, it was an insane show. Insane show. Yeah, Obituary. I seen them on Cause of Death in Milwaukee with Fear Factory, and then they came here. It was Obituary. Fuck, I can't even remember the whole.
Why do I think Witchery? No, not Witchery. I'm thinking the Martyr AD Haunted show.
No, I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember who was on the one that I saw. I remember the bass player got pissed off and he took his bass and he threw it up in the air and the fucking thing comes screaming down on this First Ave stage, main stage.
Duke.
Oh my God, he was fucking just furious. It was the guy that ended up. He was in another band and he had passed away. Frank something. I can't remember his last name.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of the random facts.
Dude. I appreciate you.
We've been on here so far.
I appreciate you coming on here. It's it's 10 right now.
We're at the
little after 10. Yeah, we're at the cusp.
I volunteered to work at 7 in the fucking morning.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to hold you too much longer, dude. I just want to say thank you for coming on. I want to say thanks for fucking reaching out. And you're like, hey, dude, I'm not gonna ask you, but I want to come on again. I appreciate that because. Yeah. Dude, I always enjoy talking to you. There's always so much. We could have just kept going and going and going.
I know I'm like, I want to keep going. Yeah. Like I'm all excited to talk because you know there ain't a whole lot of social activity going on anymore. You know, and it's nice to sit down and just fucking go.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
Nothing brings me more pleasure than talking about music.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
excited about it. You know?
Well, Wednesdays, you say Wednesdays at 9 p.m. You do that on your station over there on YouTube, Thrash Metal Studio.
Yes.
That's right. Wednesday
Yep.
nights. Wednesday
Yep.
nights. Is that the only night that you do it?
I'll occasionally jump on the weekend if I'm dicking around with something. I mean, let's not bullshit a bullshitter here. I have gear coming into the house all the fucking time.
Yeah.
I buy something, I update something, I sell something, whatever. But
Right.
Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Central Time. I do a live stream. I talk about gear. I talk about music. I'll answer any questions people have for me, even the dumbest questions in the world. I'll still answer them because this is what I does.
Yeah.
But I jam. You know, I play guitar. I've been jamming along to music. Like a couple of them ago, I started listening to like Sepultura. I'm like, dude, remember Chaos AD? And I grabbed my guitar and capo and started jamming in it. You know, some dude's like, oh my God, this brought me back to high school.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And that's what's fun, man. I want to have a community of just a good time.
Yeah.
You know, and talk about metal and music in general.
Oh, yeah. Well, the best way to do that is make sure you hit him up on Wednesday evenings at 9 p.m. and then subscribe to his stuff. So when he does sporadically jump on, you'll get a notification, or you'll set up that notification, or just click the notifications and you'll get one every time he uploads something. But we do have, I do have one more song I want to play by Hex Vortices, and no one's fucking safe.
No one.
Is the tune off of their album from 2022, Precipice, or 2020. Beep, 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 beep.
That's all, folks.
Yep. So make sure you check that out. It is available on all the streaming platforms.
Yeah, thank you, DistroKid. Yeah, that's actually something that's really cool, but it sucks, DistroKid, because our music's everywhere.
Yeah,
you know. So double-edged sword, you know, thank you.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I was going to say, too, Instagram and Facebook, just type in Thrash Metal Studio. You'll find me on there, too. I post up pictures and videos once in a while. So
awesome. Killer. Thanks again, dude. I appreciate you coming in. Folks, make sure you do me a favor and check out Anti-Broadcasting Incorporated Custom Screen Printing, antibroadcasting@gmail.com, 612-836-9488. You know what? I've done this so many times. I should be able to remember that number, but I don't ever.
Doing it. Oh.
Lowbrow Saints Tattoo Collective. Give them a shout, 612-353-4755, lowbrowsaints@gmail.com. Thank you, as always, for tuning in and joining us here at Ritual Madness Podcast. I appreciate you. Make sure you come and check us out next Friday. I'm not even positive who I have on next Friday, but make sure you come and check it out. I appreciate you. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for being a part of the podcast and part of the show. And thanks to everybody for joining us on the chat here. Sorry I wasn't able to get to it. I wanted to actually, I moved my monitor to my left side so it would be out of the way of this stuff here, but I also wanted to be able to enjoy the conversation, and sometimes I pay attention to this more so than the conversation, so it kind of fucks me up. But
it's all good, man.
it works better when you're doing it solo. You know what I'm saying? You can just focus on it.
I was going to ask you, though, have you checked out those 2 CDs?
Which 2 CDs?
These nuts. Yes, that's for you, Alan.
Got him!
Hi-yo.
Got him! All right, you bastard. All right.
Later, everybody. Check out Hex Vortices.
Yes, check them out. Here we go. No one's fucking safe. Ever. No one. God damn it.
Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual Madness Podcast.